welcome to Sci-Fi Vision for April 1st. Now I'm thinking I maybe should have thought of an April Fool's joke, but I'm all out of them. So, hi guys.
I kept forgetting today was April Fool's Day. So
I did too. So I give up. But tonight we have Wheel of Time, and then Reacher, and the season finale of Reacher finally, and then 9 Days in a Mexican Morgue, and Daredevil Born Again. I will post in Discord when we are moving on for people who only want to hear about some of them, or one of them. We want you to listen to all of them, but if you don't, I'll post that in Discord, and I'm going to add the link in the chat. If you haven't joined, please make sure you do, because you can see our schedule and everything. Which Sundays is our Yellow Jackets live stream, and we have the watch party beforehand, and we're probably going to have some other YouTubers this week, so just watch that for the schedule. And we might even have pretty soon another Yellow Jackets guest. I'm working on it, so all that good stuff. So please make sure that also you subscribe to our YouTube and like the video and check out all our stuff on there.
All right. So before we get started, you guys, I don't know if you saw the announcement today about Paradise. So, we covered Paradise. We covered Paradise as it aired on Hulu. Loved it, really recommended it. And we had a lot of visitors in our chat who had not watched Paradise. It is coming to air on ABC. It's going to air weekly starting Monday, April 7th, every Monday. So for everybody who doesn't pay for Hulu and wasn't able to watch it, you can now get it cable, over the air, whatever, starting next week. Which is great news. I want a lot more people to watch it, and I hope people will give it a shot.
Yeah, it's a really fun show. A lot of mystery too.
Yeah, and it it's great news, and what makes sense, I guess, that it Disney, ABC, who you own all these platforms, put the show out there for as many people as possible to see it.
Yeah, so buy it for season 2, right? At least that's I'm sure the plan.
I mean, there already is a season 2 announced for Paradise, which is another great thing for people who sometimes people don't want to watch a show if it doesn't get renewed, right? So there will be a season 2. So great chance for people to try the show out. Highly recommend it. That's the only news I got before we jump in here. Any other news, Jamie?
The only other thing I'll say, I think it's okay now to say it, is check out scifivision.com tomorrow afternoon, because I have some Doctor Who stuff coming. So that's a lot of fun. So that'll be, that's tomorrow afternoon once the embargo lifts for that. But cool. That's coming the 13th, I think, which I think is the same day as The Last of Us.
I thought it was 12th.
The 12th. Okay. See, that's why I'm asking you, because I'm not even sure. I'd have to look it up.
It's Sunday.
So The Last of Us is, you're right. Doctor Who is Saturday the 12th. The Last of Us is Sunday the 13th.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing a live stream for The Last of Us on Wednesday nights at 10 Eastern on here, the three of us. And we're going to do a sort of short show the Wednesday before it starts, so we can kind of talk about season 1 and, get ready for season 2.
So which means, next Wednesday, we do a recap, and then we start the show on the 16th.
Right. So
for anybody that's confused by anything.
Yes, that's next week.
Specific dates.
Yeah, I know. There's so many things going on. And if you guys want to do, if anybody wants to do a season 1 watch party, as always, let me know, because I'm up for it. I just finished doing a rewatch, but I'm all for it. I like the show. So, alrighty. Sorry. Let's move on to Wheel of Time, I guess.
So first thing I want to tell you guys that I saw was not saying that it's been confirmed that it's been renewed this much. But the plan for Wheel of Time is 8 seasons to cover all 14 books. And we're on season 4 right now. So,
wow.
As long as it keeps doing good in the ratings, we should have 4 more years of Wheel of Time.
That would be great.
That'd be great if they if they keep it that long. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of shows usually make it that many years though, but we can
Well, I
hope.
mean, when you take on a project like Wheel of Time in the first place, you know there's 14 books going into it. You know what I mean? It's not like they're still being written or something. You know?
Right, yeah,
So
and people want to see the end. So
yeah, I mean, and it's doing well, and it's it's getting, we talked about this last week, and every week this season, it's only getting stronger. So
Yeah, like I mean, you mean like in our opinion, the quality of the show is getting stronger.
yeah. Ours and a lot of people. I mean, a lot of if you look at, I mean, I know you guys look at the internet too, and since season 1, people were not too keen on it.
Yeah.
yeah,
But book readers kept saying, keep watching. It's got to get better. The books were slow too. So
yeah, and while there aren't like official ratings really for streaming in general, this show is a good performer for Amazon.
Yeah, and I've heard that, and I've heard that Jeff Bezos likes it. So that's always a good thing.
Well, I mean, that worked out well for The Expanse, right?
Yeah, that worked out very well for The Expanse.
He's a little hands-on kind of guy in terms of, I guess, what gets continued on this network. So, okay, so this is episode 5, and I'm going to try to pronounce Tel'aran'rhiod.
That sounds
Tel'aran'rhiod. The dream world, right? This is like the dream walking episode. Everybody, and it largely, I think, is it's mostly the Rand crew are highlighted in this episode. Mostly this team gets a lot of time in the episode. And a little bit of Perrin, a little bit of the other, we see Perrin for a few minutes. We see we see a lot of people in this picture, right? We see a little bit of Nynaeve and Matt and Min. But I think largely it really, the main storyline driving forward is what's happening in Aiel, and Egwene gets the big moment this week, I think.
Well, I think it's really wonderful that they finally gave Rand someone his own IQ to play with. He started playing with those kids, and I was like, "That's nice." I was like, "Rand finally has somebody to play with."
Little kids, yeah. He's really, he's
idiot,
really.
But yeah.
Well, he's kind. I mean, yeah. He complains about this episode. Really, like, drives home the degree to which Rand's story is really the story of the women around Rand.
Yeah, especially Egwene.
Or at least this season, right?
Yeah.
Moiraine, Egwene, and Lanfear. Really, it's by the way, the reason these pictures are a little like she didn't disintegrate in this episode. That's a promo. That's a key art photo. Yeah. There was no disintegration happening in this episode. But really Egwene.
I wouldn't call it disintegration. It was her moving from dream to dream.
No, but like there's a ton of like key art where everybody's turning into like little Bitsy in this picture, and in this picture, a theme of the key art was like sort of like disintegration of characters. So
gotcha.
Not turning into ash, like
the artistic part. It's just the artistic.
Yeah. I got what you're saying.
But really, like Rand's story, kind of like he takes a breather and chills out this week, while the women around him are like really
driving the story.
And really like there are times when I'm like, does this character have any will of his own? Does he even really like he's such a like empty-headed little straw-headed boy that
well, I mean, I guess
to be the main character. So it's
what a good way to say it is his entire arc is basically being told by all these different women what to do because he's the Dragon Reborn. Like, he's the Dragon Reborn, but he doesn't know what to do about it without being told by other people.
Yeah, at least in this portion of his story, book readers might not agree with us.
I mean, he did make the
In the
decision
TV show anyway.
he did make the decision to come to Anil, but
yeah. Susie, hi Susie in the chat. Susie asks, is Wheel of Time like a fairy tale? I feel like it's a big sweeping saga, more a la Lord of the Rings, right? Or other types of like
but not as boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that was. I don't think Lord of the Rings is boring.
I liked Lord of the Rings when I watched it when it was on. I don't know if I'd feel the same way now, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
It's a series of books that I have loved since I was about 12 years old. So for like,
no, I'm talking about on TV. Not
books are better.
Books are books. TVs.
You can't so I feel like you can't really separate this type of like something like Lord of the Rings or Wheel of Time or Foundation. Like
the books are never going to do it justice. At any rate, is kind of.
The TVs are never gonna.
Or that's what I meant. They never do the books justice.
Anyway,
sorry, I said that backwards.
Susie, it's it's that sort of like big sweeping fantasy styles. Dozens of named characters separated over hundreds or thousands of miles across continents, telling a multi-year long story. Game of Thrones is kind of like that also. It's more in that vein than like there's magic, but there aren't like fairies and elves and things like that.
Speaking of how much time in this, I thought it was interesting when Moraine says to Egwene at one point, she's like, "Isn't it funny that you're warning me after I warned you so many years ago?" So there's been like they haven't really been very clear on how much time has passed. We've known some time has passed, but apparently it's been a couple of years that they've been on this path.
You know what, AJ, that stood out to me also when she says that it's only a few years ago I was warning you about dreams, and I'm like, oh, a few years have gone by. There really hasn't been any marking of time. No, there are no children who age up in the last 3 seasons, right? There are no birthdays or annual celebrations or markers of time. Like it could have been months. I actually was like, oh, it's been years. Like it almost came to surprise me that it's been years, only because we're not really marking time.
Yeah, other than the actors getting older.
Well, and like everybody walked around a lot, and then it's funny. We commented last week that we felt like Nynaeve and her friend.
Now that you said that, I can't think of it.
The princess. Like we talked about everybody's being rushed through the arches, and like the novices are like training to use magic, and it's supposed to take forever to get to go through the arches, and become accepted, and we felt this being rushed, and now like maybe they've been there for a year, right? Like who knows? Years have gone by apparently, since the first season, but yeah, that jumped out to me too, Adrian.
She's the one with the somewhat normal name, and we forgot it. Elaine,
yeah. Elaine. So anyway, yeah. So main storyline is the dream walking. Well, I
was gonna say the other thing though that's at the very beginning. You kind of skipped. I mean, not that we have to go in order, but obviously they came out of. However you say it, Rudan. I'm not saying it right, but came out of that in the end of the last episode. But Moraine has that. I think it's called a sangreal, that ball.
Yeah.
Of magic that because I forgot she hasn't been able to touch magic, or at least couldn't for a while, because she's like really.
She was bound,
going above what she should be. Yeah, she was bound.
You mean because Moraine was bound and wasn't able to use magic for a while, right?
Yeah, she wouldn't be able to touch the source for a while, and now she's like overdoing it. It seems like because Lan kind of comes out and helps her and stops her, but he can now feel what it feels like to her too.
Well, she came out of the trial with that little egg, that little crystal ball that she's using to channel, right? Like, didn't she didn't she come out of the test with that, out of the wheel?
Yes.
And it's some sort of like channeling magnifier type deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to be important. I don't know what it is. I don't think she knows what it is, but I think it obviously is like it's going to be seen again, right? It's some kind of a I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys because I was a little confused about that. The female version of the sword that they're looking for is one of those, isn't it? But it's like a stronger one. I wasn't sure if I understood that correctly because it was in I think the week I want to say last week I think. Because it was definitely in the flashbacks when Rand saw his other selves. And, I took it that is that one of those. I don't think it's the one she took necessarily, but that's what they're looking for, that female weapon.
I can't keep track of all the magical objects, magical MacGuffins.
Okay, well, but at least I could feel less stupid. I wasn't sure.
I mean, we're searching for a sword and a stone. We're searching for the sangreal, the male sangreal. We're searching for like all these items, right? And I guess we will find all or some of them by the end of the season. But the highlight, it's certainly all of this set in the Aiel wasteland at this new location called, I think it's called Cold Rocks, the new town they go to, right? And they meet a whole bunch of new Aiel people. They eat giant bugs, and you know,
they bite you all the way down. Bite you all the way down your throat.
I mean, I felt like the B story here is that I feel like Moiraine and Lon are really starting to. I mean, they have a magical bond, and yet doesn't it feel like they're drifting apart? And doesn't it feel like Maureen's a little jealous of Lon being friends with these new people?
It does. I mean, she has her warder bond, but as far as I knew, we had discussed this before that they were not together in that way. But I agree. She does. I mean, she tells him to go multiple times, you know, no, you stay, or no, you go. You should be enjoying yourself. But she does seem a little, I don't know, a little jealous.
I mean, jealous, and not jealous in the sense like when your best friend starts hanging out with a new bunch of friends.
Yeah, jealous of the closeness, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it has to do with. I mean, yes, there's definitely a jealousy there in some way, shape, or form. But I think Moiraine is also just she's just forlorn at this point, you know, especially after coming out of the rings, knowing that for Rand to succeed, she's gonna have to die at some point, you know.
Yeah,
so she might be in her own head right now.
Now, those are different versions of what I think she said something like things that are to be and things that are not to be. So they're all different versions. But did you notice how it seems like in most of the versions where Rand died that she was sleeping with him? I'm like, what is that about? I don't know. That to me was a little weird because they were never in a relationship in their world, but quite a few of the other ones they were.
But that's every possible, not every possible
outcome.
Yes, but it just seemed like quite a few of them she was with Rand. I don't know. I just found it a little strange.
I mean, it was many possible outcomes, but it wasn't like, you know, all possible outcomes. But yeah, it happened in a bunch of them. I don't know that it's really, I mean, I didn't really watch it that closely. That would be interesting it would be a huge trope also about, you know, if you are correct that every time they were sleeping together was also a time that he died. I don't know, but she believes that only one can live. Like for him,
yeah, and a lot of them she kills him. I think one of them Suan kills him. But yeah, it seems like either he dies or she dies is the idea. So, and obviously, it's what's most important to her is that he lives. So
she's come to believe that like she will not be at the final battle, and in order for him to succeed, she has to die. I think it's possible she's misread it, right? You know, one thing we've learned about these sort of magical multiverse stories, and look, it's there are 14 books, so there's a long way to go. Although I'm not sure, I don't know much about these books. I don't know if anyone in the chat has read them or if either of you guys have read up on them, but I don't know that everyone lives to the 14th book. You know how like the Expanse series takes place over like 80 years or something, and all the main characters from the first book are like long dead by the last book, right?
No, they're alive in the last book.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
In the last Expanse book? Doesn't it?
Yeah. There's a time jump, but not to the point where they're dead.
Oh,
they're just not as active.
Because they're old.
Yeah.
Because they're old.
Well, it's a pretty long time jump, right? It's like
30 years.
decades, yeah. Something like Foundation, which takes place over centuries, right? Or I don't know if everybody in Wheel of Time is still going to be alive at the end of the 14th book. And so like this business with does Maureen die? Does Rand die? Like that should be resolved long before we get to a theoretical season 8. I don't know. But anyway, at this point, that is what Maureen believes, right? Mm-hmm. That she has to die. Which is kind of strange because she saw a lot of possibilities in which she doesn't die. And like, if you don't die, you can't really like she can't just kill herself to make it happen, right?
Right. She just needs to protect him, and she probably assumes it'll happen on its own.
And that she'll be killed trying to protect him, I guess. Yeah. It's a little bit of the B story, right? Because I feel like Egwene learning how to dream walk is the A story of this portion of this week's action.
Yeah.
I guess she's super powerful because she seems to learn really fast. Like her first time she goes in is like pretty successful, right?
Well, she accidentally went into that woman's dream. That's how she finds out when the one at AO.
Yeah, that was
her dream without permission.
But in this episode, she has one training session, and then like immediately afterward, Maureen's like, "Oh, can you help me go dream walking?" And Egwene's like, "Sure, let's try it."
Yeah, who thought that was going to be a good idea? I mean, it went okay, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, it was like, this is not a good idea.
I don't know. How did you guys?
Yeah, I expected Moraine to get stuck or something to go.
How do you feel about Moraine and Suan?
Yeah, like Maureen's like, I need to get a message to Suan. Here's my brilliant plan that Egwene takes me there in a dream, and I deliver it in a dream. This dream walking thing is kind of interesting because I guess if I have a dream and AJ tells me something in the dream,
how do you know it's real?
Like it's just a dream, right? Maybe I just had a dream about AJ. Like I don't be like, oh, like no one seems surprised.
Yeah, and I also felt like the main part of her message was more she wanted to see Suan than actually she had a message for her. Like, I feel like she almost abused it a little bit. Like, she said about, oh, the tower has to get behind Rand or whatever, but she said that before.
Yeah, but she was, like, emphasizing it this time, saying, like, you have no choice. Like, it ends badly if you don't. Like, I went through the rings. You need to get behind Rand. End of discussion.
Yeah.
And then from there, it went,
So
to their past relationship.
Yeah. I guess people who are shipping Maureen and Suan must have been pretty happy about this because they end up declaring their undying love for each other and saying like, I'll wait for you in every life. Like they believe in multiple lives, right? And the next turn of the wheel, I'll wait for you every time. Which I guess, they're not, I'm not a big shipper and they're particularly maybe not a ship of mine on this show. But I'm sure they have their fans who were thrilled about this.
Well, I guess I'm gonna guess that it's not really a ship, that it's history, like they used to be together. We just found out about it, but they were together at one point. And because they live a long time. and Maureen's actually older than her.
We had seen the flashback to when they were novices together. Was when they were
that's right.
Like getting together, right? We saw that a couple episodes ago.
I forgot about that.
We knew that. I think what was new here was that it's not over between them. Like they have said it's over, but in this dream, they're like, "It's not over. I love you. I wish we had been together." Like they've had this like not unrequited, like they had
Well, she
to.
banished her, so they haven't been able to
duty above feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, she did banish Maureen at I guess what was that last season? She gets banished.
Yes. But that was all part of the plan, so she could
Part
go
of the
get
plan. It was kind of a fake banish. Like they'd always had a plan that one of them would become the Amerlin and watch over the tower, and the other would go and find the dragon. So her banishment was like a setup, really. But yeah, that they've always chosen duty over love, and that they've got this big plan. They were unable to like be together because I don't know. I don't know if Aes Sedai are allowed to be together anyway, in that way, right? But
I don't know.
I don't know.
Assume they are. I think it's more because she's like their leader than anything else. Maybe not.
I mean, we've never seen any of them express more than like a sisterly love / hate for each other. But who knows? At any rate, these two couldn't because they had to like have a plan to save the world. So I guess it goes okay, but then Egwene like gets overconfident, right? Like, did we all see this coming? What happens?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. She's like going through the dream. She's like, "Oh, this is actually
just go through my friend's dreams without their permission. This sounds like a good idea."
My favorite was Elaine's though. I thought that was really cool that she was dreaming about being a pirate.
I think that Elaine, where are we finding Miss Elaine? Is she in this picture?
No,
is she in this
wrong one.
picture?
Nope. Keep going.
There she is.
There she is.
I love that. I mean, I feel like Elaine dreams of being free, of not having to be the heir to the throne and like and be the queen and have all this duty, right? And she would love to be able to like what are they called? The Sea Sisters. The Sea Sisters were pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, they were. She was with that Ail girl though. Wasn't she the one that was on the ship with her in her dream?
Yes,
that's what I thought, but I wasn't entirely sure.
Aviendra, the one who was being forced to become a wise one.
Yes.
Those two were sort of into each other. But at any rate, Egwene, I mean, I agree with Jamie. I felt like this is kind of weird and invasive that you're like invading your like dreams are like really kind of private and you're not here for any good reason than other just to snoop around and like, you know.
I think it started out though that she like when she went to see
to make sure they were okay. I think
when she went to see Nynaeve, when she went to see Nynaeve, I think she wanted to go see Nynaeve. And then she couldn't hear her, so she was like, "Oh, look how sweet this is." And then like, what else is everybody else doing?
Well, to be fair, dreams you can't always control, but these to me seemed less dream and more fantasy. Like the way they kind of set it up.
I mean, the whole point of Egwene's training is you can control the dream, and if you don't want to be there, just don't be there.
No, yes. I mean, the other people, what they're dreaming seems to be more their fantasy than just like a random dream.
I thought it was incredibly painful. Egwene's walking around with a smile on her face, like how nice everything is. And everyone's like dreaming kind of about their deepest pain. Like Perrin's dreaming about wishing he could just like have a life of a
blacksmith.
What's the guy? A blacksmith, thank you. And have his best dead friend Hopper there. And like Egwene doesn't know that was his best dead wolf spirit friend, right? Like she just sees a dog jumping around. And then she goes to see Nynaeve.
He was also with that girl there that was in that picture too.
Yeah. Well, she says, that girl that I mean,
I don't know if it was supposed to be his wife or what. They didn't really explain, but.
Well, I don't think it's supposed to be anything. Not every single thing in a dream is everything.
Well, that's why I was saying I thought that the way they did it to me looked like these were supposed to be what they were wishing for more than anything.
No,
like he wanted a normal life. And that's why I'm saying I was a little confused by that. But maybe I took it different.
Yeah. So then Egwene goes to Nynaeve and she's there with a little girl. Like Nynaeve, like Egwene doesn't know. I just feel like Egwene was being so selfish and all this. Nynaeve, it's the most painful thing Nynaeve has ever been through, to be in the Arch and experience raising a child for 10 years and then have the child murdered and you are torn out of the Arch, right? It's incredibly painful thing Nynaeve is reliving right there. Perrin's dream was painful. Matt's dream, oh my God, poor Matt. In the dream, his mother is saying, "I'm proud of you," which is like his deepest, most painful, deepest wish. Oh, and by the way, his mother was just like burned to death, which he doesn't know about.
He doesn't know yet. But do you see how I'm saying like the other side of that? Like I saw those as like what they wished for. Like he wished that his mother was proud of him. She wished she could actually have her daughter. He wished for normal life. Like I looked at it the other side of it. And I see now what you're saying. Like, yes, it's all related to the most painful things that happened to them. But I saw it more of like this was fixing that. Like it was like a fantasy of without that pain, I guess, is sort of the way I don't know. I looked at it different than you did.
Well, I looked at it as Egwene being like stupid, selfish. Jimmy. I looked at her. She's being stupid. She's being selfish. She's wandering around. She thinks these are all pretty things, and they're actually her friends' like painful parts of their psyche. And I was pissed at her, and she got what she deserves, frankly, fries by then going.
But before that, the important thing is here that when she first was being taught how to dream walk, she figures out that the Forsaken are the ones that have been doing this to her in the dreams. She doesn't know who the Forsaken is yet until...
Right. Oh, yeah. Her very first training session, the Aiel wise ones are like, oh, my God, there's a Forsaken on your tail. Right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Which is another reason, like, maybe you shouldn't screw around in other people's dreams and you're just, like, leading the Forsaken to the people you care about. Maybe, right? Yeah. In your stupid, overconfidence in your magic.
And then, of course, like you said, she gets what she deserves when she sees Lanfear sitting on top of Rand's lap. Which Rand's, you know, and I've said for a while that I don't think they end up together. Egwene and Rand. I just feel like that's just because that's what they both want. It's never going to happen. But he's giving, you know, he's clearly more attracted to Lanfear. I mean, every time we see the dreams, it's like he's like struggling to stay away from her. And this time he gives in and oops, you have somebody spying. But that's the thing, like, it's like, but it's like Rand's an idiot. And that's why I said he was an idiot earlier, because like on the outside world, you're all about Egwene, and you're like, oh, Egwene. But as soon as you go to sleep at night, you're glad that Lanfear is there.
Yeah.
You know?
So I agree with you that I don't think Rand and Egwene wind up together. Partly also because like this was like their childhood puppy love, or maybe they would have gotten together if they stayed in their little village and never met another person. But their personal growth and experience is such that it's like when you go, like you have your high school boyfriend and you go to college and you say you're going to stay together, but inevitably you don't, right? Because you grow and change as a person, not a kid anymore. And also because he's like mentally cheating on her with the devil. He's having an emotional affair with the devil, and he actually did date and live with the devil and didn't tell you.
But the point is, she recognizes her as being the Forsaken that was pretending to be her slaver. I can't think of the slaver's name, but you know who I mean. From her.
Yeah, she knows it's the same person that's like torturing her. So why do you think, okay, so Lanfear in this episode is like, oh, Rand, I'm in love with you. I'm even in love with the part of you that's good. I think I could break my dark oath, blah, 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 right? Why do you think she's messing with Egwene? Just to like,
because she's an obstacle.
You think just to get Egwene to break up with Rand?
Yes.
Yeah, but do you think that she wants to renounce her oaths? You think then she doesn't at all? I wasn't sure how I felt about it.
I think Lanfear is a very complex character, And I actually think she does. I think she wants to kill the Dark One. I think she's tired of all these hundreds of years that they've been doing this song and dance. And I think she's like, enough is enough. You know, she had that little secret meeting with Robin and Samael. You know, I think she's gonna be beneficial to the side of good. I think she probably ends up dying in that quest, but I really do believe that she's still a Forsaken, and she's still selfish, and Egwene is her competition for Rand's affection.
So, like, you think she'll be beneficial to the side of the light?
Yes.
Kind of like despite herself, not because she chooses the light, but because she just chooses.
Because she chooses Rand
against the dark.
Yeah.
She chooses Rand, and she chooses like I like the way you described it. I'm down with this idea, AJ, that she's sick of doing the song and dance through like 1,000 lifetimes. And she just wants to like be in control of herself, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I definitely could see wanting to undo your oath to the Dark One, like you made a deal with the devil, and now, like, in every story ever that people make a deal with the devil, that nobody ends up glad about it. Everybody is like, "Oh shit, that was a bad idea," right?
Oh, Robin seems pretty happy. He glamours everybody.
Oh yeah, Robin seems to. Robin does seem to.
And what's her and the spider lady there? She seems to she seems to really enjoy her job.
Yeah, well, she's kind of a psycho, right? So
yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, to each their own, but Fear definitely feels.
Every sane person regrets it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Do you guys think that Rand is like really in love? I mean, AJ, you have a good point that every night he goes to sleep, he doesn't really dream about Egwene. He dreams about, of course, Lanfear is a dream. Is he dreaming
inserting herself in his dreams?
Yeah. Right.
But,
yeah.
But he's happy she's there. He's not. You know, I mean, even in the beginning of this dream, she says something. He's like, "You've never been here before." She's like, I forget what her response was, but he's not sad to see her there. He leans in to kiss her. You know what I mean? Like he's not. They never have bad conversations. And you can, and it's actually funny because I feel like he has more chemistry with Lanfear than he does with Egwene.
I agree.
I agree too. He did say, like, once in a while he says something lame like, "We have to stop meeting like this."
Yeah.
He doesn't try very hard.
Yeah, he's not really resisting.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He's not resisting her. He's not trying to resist her.
He's not. I mean, okay, the devil is sexy, but you know.
Yeah, but he's not being very faithful in his dreams at any rate.
No, and you're right. He never is sorry to see her. He never is like, "Stop stalking me."
Yeah.
You're the devil. There was did you watch go ahead.
I was just gonna say they are gonna have a fight coming up though, because Egwene's gonna fucking say something to him. She's gonna be like, "Why are you sleeping with the Forsaken that's been attacking me?" And then he's gonna go to Lanfear and be like, "What the hell?" So they're gonna have a little bit of a tiff coming up, I think.
Yeah, he didn't notice. Like Lanfear totally knew what was up and was like, "Hey, Egwene, look at me.
Yeah,
with your boyfriend, right?"
Yeah, he didn't even see her.
He didn't even notice her there.
I like the way they tried to make it look like she was gone and he was by himself. And Artie actually thought that he's like, "Oh, lucky Rand," and I was like, "She's sitting on his lap." And then you see her arm come around. I was like, "See."
Yeah. Yeah, she knew exactly. I mean, she's much more experienced and probably more powerful dreamwalker than Egwene, and she probably saw her coming from a mile away, right?
Probably.
But Egwene, man, you are like, this is like typical storyline of like a person finds out they have a power and they're overconfident and not using it carefully and wisely, and then they get a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Which is what happened to her. I do look forward to the fallout. I mean, I hope she will like break up with him and be like, "I'm sorry, sleeping with the Forsaken is maybe like what do you mean you dated her for the whole year that you were missing? Not only did you make us think you were dead, you were sleeping with the Forsaken."
Well, to be fair, that was Moraine's idea to make everybody think he was dead.
Okay, but still, like,
But and he didn't know she was the Forsaken when he first got with her.
yeah, well, he knows now. I mean, that's like being like, I didn't
But
know.
he knows now, so yeah, no.
I
Yeah,
didn't know you were a serial killer, but I do now, and I'm still with you.
right. It's like Carmela Soprano always being like all she's always like all guilty that her husband is like a organized crime boss, but she's never guilty enough to actually leave him and all of his money.
The other
Right.
thing is that woman made her promise that she wouldn't go back to, I don't know the name of the place, but I thought she meant she wasn't allowed to be where she's at doing this dream walking, or is it because they sent Moraine to her that it's okay? Or did she just mean like you can't go into the wise one's dreams or something? I wasn't entirely sure about that, and I don't know if it matters, but I thought she was saying she wasn't allowed to be there. And
I
then
think
she like, totally went there.
Yeah, I think they're like, don't go to Tel'aran'rhiod by yourself after only having one training session. And I'm not really sure that I believe that they said to Moraine, oh yeah, go ask Egwene to help you. She will.
Yeah, I don't think they knew she was doing it. That was
No.
my point.
Yeah, no.
Right? I don't think
Because Moraine went to her and she was like, "Oh, I hear that they taught you how to dream walk. Can you take me somewhere? I need a ride.
yeah, basically, right?
I'll give you
I
gas
really
money."
thought she was going to get stuck. I did not expect that to go as well as it did.
Yeah. It should be pointed out also that like Rand and Lanfear are making out. That's that place, like they're right near their home in the Two Rivers, and that's like his and Egwene's like place where they
Yeah.
they love that beautiful place. Like it's like catching your boyfriend having sex with someone else in your bed.
Yeah.
Is kind of what happened. Not cool, Rand. Not cool. Okay, maybe I'm gonna give him one slight little channeling makes men go insane and hurt the people they love.
Nope, don't give him that. Nope.
He hasn't channeled enough yet to be insane from it, though. So
Yeah,
I don't know. He gets that excuse yet.
He's just a faithless jerk.
Yes.
I look forward to seeing what becomes of him when his like hyper competent magical girlfriend wants nothing to do with him anymore, right? Like Egwene is only with them, like she came on this quest to protect him and maybe to protect him from Moiraine, but she definitely was like, I'm coming to protect him because this is like super dangerous and he needs someone who cares about him. And now like his number one fan is gonna hate him.
She's gonna be pissed at him, but I think she'll still have his back.
I think she will too, but I don't know that she should. I think she'll forgive him too easy.
That's fair. It is like the battle for the end of the world, right? Like we're talking about like the stakes are really high. And so do you turn your back on him or do you just like, oh my God, now I have to like deal with my I have to have this I'm stuck dealing with my ex-boyfriend now for the rest of the my life.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
So, all right.
So,
we might want to switch gears. Yeah.
Okay.
I love the scenes with Alana and Maxim.
Yeah.
I thought that. Yeah. I love that he would. I like the fact that they finally got it all out there and had a little angrily, but they finally had the conversation that they've both been like dreading to have. Like when she tells him, she's like, "You're not enough." I was like, "Ooh, that." Ow. But I understand what she's saying. But
then she's saying she didn't mean not enough as a friend, as a lover, as a partner. She's like, you're not enough to fight this battle. We need a third person.
Yeah. When she first said it, I was like, ouch. And then, she went on to explain that she's like, you're not an army. We need an army. He's like, you want to build an army? She's like, yes. She's like, and then when they're making the plan to go save Matt's family, she's like, I'll give you cover. And he's like, no. And she's like, shut up. I'll give them cover.
You don't tell me what to do. That's basically what the conversation was. I want to
Yeah.
protect you. You don't tell me
I
what to do.
gotta be honest though, because she was all alone when she was getting shot with arrows. I was nervous for a minute. I was like, oh my god, she turned off the bond with Maxim, and now she's getting shot with all these arrows.
When he came out, he was still there and like he never left. But no,
yeah, when he came out, I was like, okay. I was hoping that was gonna happen, and then she's like, how did you find me? He's like, you turned the bond back on.
Actually, I thought they were I thought because some of this episode was devoted to the Gold Cloaks, and they're reminding us of their hatred.
White Cloaks. I was going to say, I'm like, when did they become the Gold Cloaks? The White Cloaks.
Oh, the Gold Cloaks are from Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. I just realized where you went with that.
Gold Cloaks are from Game of Thrones. The White Cloaks, we had just been reminded of their feelings about witches, particularly Eamon Valda's feeling. I mean, he's the number one witch hater, right? And their treatment of witches, and what they had done to Matt's mom. So I thought they were going to catch her. I thought they were going to catch Alana, and that we were going to maybe see her have to be rescued in a different way. So I was surprised the way this scene played out with Max coming back.
Yeah, but they were going for Matt's family. Now, let me ask you guys a question because I wasn't sure, and I meant to rewatch it and then forgot to. Scarlett, this is Wheel of Time we're talking about right now. It was one of the kids that had the magic, right?
Yes.
Not the mother. Okay.
Yes, one of the sisters, one of the girls.
100% sure.
I mean, it could. I mean, they both could maybe. But it's funny actually because at first I didn't realize where it came from. So I thought that
I thought Perrin was there. Yeah.
Perrin can't channel. I thought there was somebody else there that we weren't. I thought somebody else was there that we weren't expecting. And then the mother's like, "It was me," and I was like, "Okay, it came from one of the girls."
Yeah. I didn't know any of them could channel.
Well, that's the whole point.
I really appreciated having Alana point out in this scene where Maxim's like, why are we in the Podunk Two Rivers? Like, why are we hiding out here?
That was
out to him, and she's like, Randall Thor, the dragon, like Egwene, super powerful, Nynaeve, all these like super powerful kids come from the Two Rivers. Like, there is magic in their blood here. Like, we can find somebody really good here.
There's warriors, I think is what she said. There's warriors.
Yeah. There's warrior blood. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you're right. She did say that, but they all are super. They're not all. I mean, so Matt is not magical.
He's the hornblower.
But he's the hornblower, right? Which is a big deal.
And not a lot of people can survive blowing the horn, but he did.
No, but he did. So it was nice to have a character like put two and two together, like that piece of it. I don't always love a piece of exposition, but was that exposition? I don't know what I would call it, but having a character like put those pieces together for the audience and for Maxim and for I worry that it foreshadows that like maybe the White Cloaks, maybe they'll figure like has Eamon Valda figured out yet that there's all sorts of how important this part of the country could be, right? And what could be going on here. This guy's the worst, man. This guy's been horrible.
He's dead.
He's been horrible since the very first episode when he first captured all of them. And he's like, he's like gonna pursue them to the ends of the earth. Like what's his name in Les Mis, right? The guy that pursues Jean Valjean all across the planet. Or France, trying to kill him, but this was all of this was very kind of, I don't know, maybe so. Perrin continues to have like the most boring storyline, but like there's interesting stuff going on around him in this place where he is, right?
Mhm.
Like I just every week I complain like, when is something going to happen with Perrin, right?
The part with him rallying the town, that was the last episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I was catching up right before this. I watched them together. That's what I thought. But
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is he goes to save Matt's family, and
Well,
it
he,
leads
yeah.
him.
I mean, I think, yeah, Jamie, you're absolutely right. He does, but like the reason is he realizes that the White Cloaks are there because of him. Like everything is there. These people are only in danger because of Perrin, right? Like
Yeah.
the Trollocs are not really the biggest danger that's happening here. And that Eamon Valda has shown up really because of Perrin, and he needs to rescue them because he is a rescuer, but also because it's like because of him that things are getting worse. Now there's like Gold Cloak reinforcements coming. It was very satisfying, although, to watch Maxim kill all of them, almost all of them. Right? He doesn't get Eamon Valda, and he doesn't get.
Oh, he didn't get him. I thought he did get him in the end. I didn't realize he got away.
I think these two got away.
No. Blondie didn't get
him, didn't he? No.
Blondie.
the girl killed him.
Right?
The girl,
Oh, yeah.
girl threw the knife and killed him.
Oh yeah. And got Blondie. Yeah.
Because he stabbed Perrin.
Bornhold. Bornhold. He's named Bornhold Jr., right? Dane Bornhold is his name.
Yeah, which he seemed to be like the one good White Cloak before.
Well, that's Perrin's like, I thought you were a good guy, and he's like, I was until.
So you came.
Until what?
Yeah.
I don't know why he was blaming it on Perrin.
Yeah, I mean,
well, because Perrin killed the jackass.
He killed his father. He killed Dane's father, and now Dane has like, I mean, I get it. He's really mad, right? And he does kind of believe that he seems to think that Perrin like killed his father in cold blood. But I'm like, but it was the middle of a battle for. Like it was a huge battle for the dragon to declare himself, right? And he killed Hopper. I mean, I'm sorry, but he killed Hopper. Right? Killed Hopper. So he got it. I thought it was a good fight scene. Perrin gets stabbed, right?
Yeah.
And
that's where we leave them. We don't see the result of that yet.
Yeah.
All right.
So the other story. Go ahead.
Back in the White Tower.
Back in the tower.
Aleda puts Mother on notice.
Yeah, boy.
And then Mother concocts a plan because she thinks that Aida is the other Black Aja, which she is not, which I didn't think she was gonna be.
No, I didn't.
It doesn't make sense for her to be. Honestly, actually, do you guys have theories on who the last Black Aja is? I have a theory.
Well, I mean,
it might be that gray-haired lady, but I don't know her name.
Varen?
Mira.
I think it's Varen.
I think it's Mira.
Varen is her name. Well, but Varen helps.
I like her though. I don't really want it to be her, but I, for whatever reason, feel like it is.
Wow, her real name is Mira. I got confused.
You got confused.
Yeah, I think it's Varen.
Really? Because, after Aleda basically tells Swan, like, I'm taking over, you suck, you're like, you have cheap furniture and bad taste, so you don't deserve to be the Amyrlin.
Yeah.
And
so essentially what she said.
But I don't know, Varen has been like so.
She helped set up the fake out too, though.
She's helped set up the right,
which is part of the reason I think it's her.
Yeah.
Because I feel like somebody on the inner circle is the last person, because it seems they see that some I mean, they sent a gray man just as all this was going down.
Yeah, and she was also around when Nynaeve and Elaine got attacked by the gray man too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. I feel like Varen has been. Okay, so I hear you that by helping set up Aleda, she knows if, let's say she's the Black Aja, right? Then she knows that Aleda is not Black Aja. But by setting her up to go downstairs and interrogate Joy and I forget their names, Becky and Joy down there. One is Joy or Joya.
Joya or something like that.
She knows that maybe she'll kill one or both of them, and that's right. Like
Which
less
is a good thing to the whoever the Black Aja is.
Right.
it would be for Varen, right? To have those
They
two,
let them there.
whoever it is, those two are killed. Loose lips cannot sink your ship because they're dead, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be to her advantage to set this up. And if I mean, obviously, Aleda is a very formidable foe, right?
I gotta say, Aleda's methods. If the Gray Man hadn't showed up, she was gonna get a name.
She was. I would agree with that.
Yeah, she was going to get a name because she was just going to torture them until they tell in a way that most of the sisters
Which
wouldn't
they probably,
do. Right?
which part of me feels like they probably should have done in the first place, and they would have known who the Black Aja was.
Yeah, I mean, Varen could be the Dark Friend. I mean, there aren't that many named. I mean, there are a bunch of named sisters, but it's not the one. What's the name of the one who, the one whose mind has been damaged, who they set up.
Yeah, no, she helped.
That's Varen's sister.
That's Varen's sister, right? Because she's not
it's her. I guess it could be, but I don't think it's Suan's. She's not a recipient, whatever you want to call her. Her what?
Leanna.
It's not Leanna. No, it's not Leanna.
Yeah.
Leanna put her body in front of Swan when the battle was going on. So I don't think it's her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's got to be somebody we know, though, not just like you said, it's not just a no-named Yellow Aja or something. It's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people they've thinned the herd, so.
So Aleda gets stabbed like 8 times, and the episode ends, and she's laying there stabbed. Right?
They can help her magic.
Jamie, I'm trying to ask you. What I was going to ask you is, do either of you think that she's going to die?
No. Suan healed her.
Yeah. I think that one of the weaknesses that people complain about this show is like fake death fake outs, right? That they like a person gets like stabbed and then they're just immediately healed by magic, like in the next episode.
Well, it's actually funny because I wasn't concerned at all that she was going to die because I knew they were going to show up. The only way she was going to die was if nobody showed up, and since they knew that she was there, I figured they weren't too far away, so they'd get there in time to heal her.
I guess I was kind of wondering, like, does a Gray Man knife like have powers? Is it like getting stabbed with a poison knife, or is it just like getting stabbed by a normal knife? Is it a magic knife?
I would say no, because he didn't kill not Egwene, Nynaeve. Like she was okay after.
Right. That's a different Gray Man. That's not the same person,
no,
right?
But
Gray Man is the person who has sold their soul to the to the Forsaken person that creates you, right?
Right, but she was almost dead and was healed pretty easy, so that's why I'm assuming that. I mean, you're right; it's not the same attacker, but
no, it's not the same attacker, but
it's still Gray Men.
They're all called Gray Men.
They're all called Gray Men, yeah. So you believe that it's a straight up normal knife, and she just got stabbed a bunch of times, and she'll be fine.
Yes.
I mean, I gotta tell you, I was like, don't even freaking tell me that Shoyag Dashlu was doing 2 episodes and being killed. I was so pissed, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Plot armor.
Yeah.
She's at least got more than 2 episodes of plot armor.
I don't know. Like, I've seen so many shows where a famous person shows up for I never could watch Z Nation after like they.
I was just gonna say that.
AJ and I were
a lot less money into the cast.
I didn't even watch it. I knew about it because you guys had mentioned it.
Yeah. I mean, after they killed, they're like, "Oh, Harold Perrineau stars," and he gets killed in the first episode. I'm like, whatever. This show sucks, right? I never could watch that show.
Yeah.
And there are shows that do it.
They put a lot more money into this cast, so I think.
Look, there are people that have schedules and can only do like an actor's casting is not always about how much money you're paying them, right? Some people don't have time to do more than an episode.
You know what though? It's not even just because Shohei. It's the character itself to get killed after 2 episodes defeats the purpose of the character.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there are plenty of characters that last a short time in
But
books and
this
TV
specific.
shows.
Yes, that's true. But because of the stir that she's caused, like everything she's got going with the vote and everything else, she dies. The entire storyline is completely gone. So why bother with it in the first place?
Yeah, we never find out why she was shaking or any of that either. So
she appears to have unfinished business plot wise.
Yeah.
So okay, fair enough. But they did do the Wheel of Time sort of fake death thing, where we have to wait until next episode to see that she's totally back to normal. I'm a little getting a little sick about magical healing. Like remember when Lon got his throat slashed and then was cured by magic immediately? Like I'm kind of getting sick of magic being able to cure any type of. It's like Monty Python getting your arm chopped off and it's just a flesh wound, right?
It depends on who's around when the people get stabbed.
Yeah, if Nynaeve is around, well, you're dead. But
yeah, exactly.
If anyone else is around,
you're fine.
Yeah, it's just a little bit. Talk about plot armor. If there's any Aes Sedai around, you can't be killed, right?
Unless they're killing a whole bunch of Aes Sedai at once, like in the beginning of the season. Then a lot of them died.
Yeah, there wasn't time to heal anybody.
Yeah. All right, so that was pretty much everything in this episode, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And Ming is a tour guide.
Oh yeah, we didn't even really talk about
wasn't really much to talk about with them.
No, they sailed on their boat and they got to
and Nynaeve gets seasick.
Yeah, but they also found out the I forget what you called them, the pirate girls.
The sea
sisters.
Sea sisters, yeah. That they are powerful
channelers,
magic wielders, but they don't want the Aes Sedai to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of like the sea folk. I don't. And I thought I really liked the sequence partly because the channeling with the wind and the sails and everything was so.
Yeah, that was cool. It was funny too because when they first revealed it, the first thing I said was, "Oh, now we know how they travel so quickly." I was like, and it just looks cool.
Yeah, I mean the special effects were great, and I liked the revelation. I liked how turns out that they're powerful channelers, and for 300 years they've been telling the Aes Sedai, making them think that they are weak channelers, and they could never, and that way the Aes Sedai don't snoop around and they can do whatever they want, right? I really
they leave them alone.
Yeah, they leave them alone and they're free to use their she says the sea mistress, the ship captain, basically the ship, it's there's more than one way to channel, there's more than one way to be a woman, which is such a powerful thing to say to Elaine in particular, right? Who really only has one way that she can live. And then they get to Tanchico, which has the best name of any place because I can remember it and pronounce it.
Tanchico.
And they get there, and I'm pretty sure that Matt's going to ruin everything.
Probably.
No, why would you think that? Matt is such a stealthy character. He doesn't stand out. He isn't loud.
To be fair, Min wasn't very stealthy either since she got caught by Matt.
No, but Min is the only one who's been to Tanchico, right? And she spends a lot of time saying I need you to be on your best behavior. Do not make eye contact with anyone. Do not raise your head. Do not talk loud. Do not flash. She gives them 5 instructions, and I feel like you're
Matt's
just giving
us up in 30 seconds.
Stupid.
Right? You just gave us the list of the 5 mistakes Matt is going to make in the next episode. She wrote the script for the next episode. She's you have to be so careful, and he's just not capable of exhibiting an ounce of common sense.
Mm-hmm.
The first time he sees a pretty skirt, he's gonna be like, "Hey."
Yep. Yeah, and a bottle of wine, and then he'll be like, "I'm the horn blower," and I'm here snooping around looking for Leandrin.
His mouth shut about that either.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's gonna ruin everything.
All right.
All right.
Moving on.
Moving right along here. We are also, what's next? Reacher?
Yep.
Reacher.
Yeah, I
Where
think
are
we
you,
went through all
Reacher?
that.
This was the season finale of Reacher.
Yes.
When this episode ended, Prime automatically launched season 1, episode 1. The premiere episode of Reacher came on from the
I
very.
never understand why it goes backwards like that. Like that to me is.
I don't know why, but it just reminded me how much better that season was than this season.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Jamie, all the things happen in this episode this week.
Yes, and before I forget, because otherwise I know I'm going to forget, I did put up the interview with Olivier Richters, who plays Paulie, who has his demise in this episode. What I gotta say though, what a fight! I mean, they have long fight scenes in this episode. It goes on and on and on in a good way. I think that they did a really good job with the two of them. And I told him in the video, we're always saying it's hard to get somebody bigger than him, and that it really worked because he's 7'2". That's like crazy. But anyway, it was a really good interview, and he talked about the different fight scenes and in the water and everything else. So people can check that out at scifivision.com.
Yeah, actually, this shot does not really show how much bigger he is than Alan Richardson.
He's a lot bigger than Reacher.
Who Alan Richardson, I think, is like 6'5" and a big guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that fight scene went on much too long and was a little boring and too much for me. And I
thought it was fun, but I mean, I feel like Reacher's a lot of action. It doesn't always have as much like substance line wise. So I don't know. I feel like it's always like that kind of, but
yeah. I also think that not having seen Paulie for the last at least 2 episodes or 3, like made this to me feel a little bit like, I don't know, like a string they had to tie up, an afterthought, unfinished. Like you knew this was coming for many episodes, but like by putting Paulie on a shelf for a couple episodes, I guess they took away from me. It lessened my desire to see him. I hated him so much, and I was like, Reacher has to kill that guy, right? But then like other hateful people showed up and got killed much faster, and I kind of like. I guess it just ebbed. My anticipation of this kind of ebbed because we didn't see Paulie for a couple episodes, and I guess I lost my drive for this.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of time in the other episodes to keep bringing them back. But at any rate,
I mean, it was nice how Reacher got him in the end, and he has that line like, "I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you," and then Reacher's like, "Yeah, but I'm smarter." Right?
Yeah.
And he tricked him by backfiring the gun in the end. I read an interview with Alan Richardson speaking about how he insisted on doing the stunt, and the staff was like, "No, Richardson, don't do it. You can't do it. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get killed. This is too much." And he insisted on doing it, and he really had a very difficult time and got the shit beaten out of himself by insisting on doing this fight scenes, particularly the scene where they're in the gatehouse and he gets smashed through the table and was like literally like knocked unconscious for a little bit. You might have read that. Many people I think have seen that interview, right?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of, he takes quite a lot of beating in this episode. That's for sure.
Yeah. But so it opens, with this big we had seen at the end of the last episode, right, that like
the ambush,
that it was a setup and that everybody was being ambushed.
That's what I thought you were talking about last time when you were like the fight in the fort. I'm like, there's a lot of that, Karen. There's a lot of fights. But yeah, the ATF gets overwhelmed. They should have, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say they should have listened to Reacher because obviously they're not going to let him just go kill Quinn. But the whole thing was a setup. Quinn did not trust Beck.
and it was a setup. So yeah, they were all there to be killed. He assumed Beck would get killed in the crossfire and he wouldn't have to deal with him. Reacher did save him at this point anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. So it's a pretty good shootout scene. And, it was tense and it was pretty good, but it's a little defies believability by the end of it that like every single person is killed except for
them.
Except for our trio and the single truck driver that they can use, right? And
I really thought Villanueva would be killed.
What's not believable to me about it is that the ATF there's nobody monitoring from a distance. There's nobody on the radio that somebody's like, hey, we're getting massacred in here. There's no backup there. And like the whole rest of the night goes on and like nobody from the ATF shows up to be like, hey, where's our 50 guys who got shot? Like there's no, right?
Yeah,
like
that's lazy writing, but you're right.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of silly.
Yeah, no, and I said I thought Villanueva was going to die. I mean, I was glad he didn't, but yeah, the fact that they survive and all these other ones who are trained. I mean, granted, Reacher is trained. I don't expect Reacher to die, but like a lot of those ATF agents are probably trained better than the two of them, and somehow they made it out. So, yeah, it was a mess.
And and they're not even really like that bothered by it. Like 50 guys just got killed, 20, 30, 20, however many guys just got killed because of them. And there's like no reaction. They're like, okay, well, let's go on and like get this guy, right? Like, like probably 25 soldiers have been killed because of your single-minded determination to kill this one guy and rescue Teresa. And I appreciate the moral imperative of rescuing your CI who you put in danger, but is it really worth the cost?
No, at a certain point it wasn't.
And
it's TV, but yeah, I agree.
And this show is not interested in thinking about that or examining that or having it. And I don't know if the books would include any thoughtful reflection on, but this season has been very one note in that regard, right?
Just killing everybody and not even really trying not to at all.
Like is Reacher really a guy who would let a couple dozen I mean, okay, he didn't know it was going to be a slaughter. He didn't know it was going to be an ambush.
But he didn't really try very hard to save them either. Let's put it that way.
He doesn't really appear to feel bad at all about it.
No.
Is what like I guess
and then he immediately kills the driver, which screws up their plan. He doesn't even like think about it.
He kills the driver because he can't find a piece of rope to tie him up, right?
Yeah, and like, yeah, okay, it's funny. It's like a funny line, but I would have more appreciated it making sense, I think, than
having that line in there.
Yeah, like I would appreciate like he's almost like a psycho, right? Like he's like, oh, I have to find some rope or kill you. Oh, I couldn't find any rope. Like Reacher is I don't know. I thought he was like a more thoughtful guy and a guy with a coat. He just like, I mean, he kills the guy in 1 second because he can't find a piece of rope.
Yeah.
What?
You know what I want to know? I would really, and these are never books. I mean, it's not my kind of book, but I am curious if the books escalate like that, because I wonder if that's more like we're trying to make it exciting for television, so we just do it. I'm kind of wondering like if they've changed him, because I mean, we've said it before, that was one of the things we liked about Reacher, was that he thought things through. He would try to save people when he could, and now it's just like boom, 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 let's shoot as many people as we can. And it kind of, yeah, I don't love that.
Yeah.
It's become more of, and this is what I was saying before about like, I wasn't surprised the fight went on a long time. It's not that the fight wasn't choreographed well. And I thought the fight worked really well, but like, I'm getting used to that where it's like just action and no substance, because that's what it's been this season for a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they, so they have added almost, I mean, Reacher usually has a twisty storyline, And the twist became last week that, oh, the guns are being sold to Yemeni terrorists and there's going to be a terrorist attack on the United States. And like, I feel like it's almost an attempt to justify the murderiness of Reacher this whole season.
Yeah, that's fair.
By at the last minute, it's terrorists.
And that being said, though, I did like what they did with having Villanueva was trying to save Beck's kid, and also Needley is like sneaking in and being a little stealthy. Like that part of it, I more enjoyed than Reacher just going around killing everybody, I guess.
Yeah, like all that, like behind the scenes at the birthday party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like that. Villanueva, like getting a chance to really do some cop action and like be more than like Duffy's side. All he's done all season is be like, oh yeah, Duffy, I support you. It's pretty much all he says in every episode, right?
Pretty much.
And that I agree with you, Jamie, that he had a chance to like, you know, like play a role, risk his life.
And save the kid.
I didn't really think that he was going to get killed because we all knew who was going to die, right? And we knew it was going to be Beck Sr.
We definitely knew he was going to die. I don't know. I thought earlier on in the season that Villanueva was going to maybe die, but I mean, I liked him. I hoped he didn't, but I thought they might just because of the way he was going. But
I mean, he made so many comments about retiring with his wife that I felt like maybe he can't be killed because he's gonna like
he has to retire with his wife.
He has to retire with his wife. Right? He's got like a week to go, and once Elliot got killed, then I thought maybe Duffy couldn't lose two partners in the season. But yeah, and Neely going around the cocktail party. I mean. Yeah. You know, as a waiter, and then she's like, oh, she gets caught. Oh, I'm a PI. I'm trying to figure out who's stealing from your, like, she thinks well on her feet.
Yeah.
That was all.
And Duffy was going around trying to find Teresa during this too. So everybody was kind of on their own.
Yeah, everybody's off like on their own.
I mean, early on we had said we figured Teresa was dead, but I think once you knew she was alive, you kind of figured after all this she was going to be rescued. So, the fact though that this girl, they got hooked on drugs again, they kind of made her okay a little too fast. I felt like. I mean, I don't know. I guess it was just showing the after, but the fact that she seemed to be okay right after was a little surprising to me, but.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. They don't want it to have a super dark.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But a lot of it is the fights between Reacher and I was going to say the thing in the woods with the trucks and that was that last episode.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay, that's where I was getting mixed up. What was which episode when you were asking me? Okay, that was last episode. But there's a lot with him running around after Paulie. I mean, there's a point where he, you know, strings him up by a chain and then he goes out and Reacher gets himself down. And it's kind of like an oh shit moment, you know, he's coming. And then they continued it on and on. And then they eventually fought in the water. And then I forgot they got out of the water because they made it off the cliff because you're right. He got killed by the machine gun that he made not backfire, but
yeah, he loaded it backwards.
The wrong word, but he screwed it up so that it would shoot him when he tried to shoot Reacher. I
thought Reacher might get the better of Paulie in the water because the water, that tidal pool, whirlpool has been such a plot point earlier in the season, right?
Yeah, that's why I had forgotten they made it back out. But if we hadn't been talking about the gun, I would have forgotten about it. Because yes, I think the water would have made it more, I don't know, a better place to have that happen to end the fight there. They could have very easily.
Yeah, and I thought maybe the water would be a place where Reacher could get, where maybe Paulie's superior size and weight would matter less in like a buoyancy kind of situation, right? And that maybe Reacher could get the better of him, and then they like almost get smashed in the rocks. They both almost die, and then they like get out of the water and keep fighting. Right? And there's part where Reacher thinks he has killed Paulie, and then like he's staggering, barely able to walk down the road, and then like Paulie's behind him. Reacher's like, really? Are you kidding me? That guy's still alive.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Trace was asking about Reacher getting knocked out. You had said about that, or about Alan Richardson. Oh,
Alan
why is
Richardson.
the chat screwing up for me again? The chat's being weird. But anyway, I was gonna say, also what I didn't know is that Olivier didn't like water. He had to get over that to do it.
Oh yeah,
which is interesting. Yeah. So yeah, there's quite a bit of that, but it was a lot. But I don't know. Like I said, I overall liked the fight. I do agree with you. It went on longer than it needed to. But like I said, that's kind of how I think this show is. It's a lot of bang, and I don't dislike it, but I would have preferred to have, I think, less action and more story at certain points in the season.
Yeah. There's another, it's not a fight scene, but there's this very creepy, like, the episode is like, there's a lot of creepiness in like the way there's a lot of casual conversation about when this man is going to go upstairs and rape Teresa. Right.
Yeah.
And it like, it comes up and it comes up and it comes up in like casual conversation. Like, I know these writers have gone to great lengths to make all the bad guys despicable so that Reacher can murder them all. But it was really, I'm like, okay, oh my God. And then Duffy, like, I did love when she goes, I ought to shoot you in the crotch for what you were about to do. I was still surprised when she actually shot him in the crotch.
Yeah, that part was good.
It was kind of awesome.
Yeah, he kind of deserved it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're drugging this poor girl, and they're going to use her as, sex trafficking or whatever, and rape her repeatedly. And yeah, he deserved it. But she got her way in the end. And then the other thing about the storyline, I'm just remembering it now because we're looking at this picture, because I think it's from that scene, is that she after kind of like wasn't expecting, because it was her that was going to break up with him, right? I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. That she didn't intend for it to be a long relationship either.
Oh, that's at the very end. That's almost the very end of the episode.
Yeah.
That's almost the last.
We know
thing.
that Reacher always, leaves them at the end, and she was kind of like of the same mind, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, but before we get there, I mean, there's two really, there's like two kind of dramatic climaxes of this episode. One is maybe the best scene in the whole episode is Chekhov's toy gun appears, right? Like, I wasn't expecting that either, I don't think. Because maybe
that part I didn't. I mean, once you saw him with it, I think you knew, but
oh yeah. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's the toy gun. That's the toy gun.
Yeah, I did like how they did that, and that he was able to pull off and fake him out in order to save his son, but obviously it didn't. Or no, the kid had the gun, right? Who had the gun? I forget. Was it him or his kid?
No. What happens is, like, Beck comes into Richard's room and like finds him, like he finds it basically before the birthday party, before Richard can give it to him as a gift. Beck comes in the room, and it is revealed that Richard has had this gun, right, and was going to give it to his dad. And that last week, right, when Beck's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was such a bad dad."
Yeah. We talked about that.
But like, so then when it appears in the scene where Beck is like going to make his last stand, and I think Jamie, you had first suggested a couple weeks ago that Beck would die to protect his son in the end and be redeemed by giving his life for his son, right?
Yeah, I need
but when we saw that gun, that was awesome. And then when it like melted and fell in half because the glue wasn't dry yet, that was kind of awesome.
Yeah, and it's the end there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good while it lasted. Unfortunately, could not continue. But yeah. So at least the kid got out. I mean, we did figure he was going to die at the end, so it wasn't super surprising. But I mean, the scene was good. and sad. I liked him. I liked his character, and I think he did redeem himself. I mean, the idea of being an asshole to your son so he doesn't feel bad when you die. I'm not sure that's like smart parenting, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, it kind of worked because Richard really wasn't that sad at the end of the episode.
Yeah. That's a good point. And then I guess the idea was obviously that the cops would come and take all that money away because his father didn't earn it in a fair and legal way. So Reacher's like, grab what you can and go. That's what you wanted, was to, drive away. And so he gets to.
Oh yeah, he says they'll freeze all of your dad's accounts within a couple hours, right? So
yeah, so get everything you can and go. And so he got a lot of money and go off.
Yeah.
But so it culminates with Quinn is going to the Russian mob guy to give him the guns.
Mm-hmm.
Which I forget, Neagley grabs or takes, whatever, but they come over and Reacher's like, no, I'm going to kill him. And he's like, I don't care if you kill him or not. I want my stuff. And they kind of argue about it. And then she takes them, and I think she says the only way they can get is it their money or their guns? I can't remember what they're after. They're after the money, right?
Yeah, and they are owed money, and they had come there to get the money.
Who brought them the guns?
The fact that the money is a result of an arms sale is irrelevant to the Russian mob. Quinn had done a deal with them to finance whatever, and he needs to make good on the money, right? And that's why Quinn is selling these guns to make the money to pay the Russians back.
Yeah, and they're pretty much like care about the money, and Reacher's like, you can have the money, but I'm gonna kill Quinn. And in the end, he did. I mean, I like how they did the ending and how they got them to leave and he shot him himself, I guess. Was it really necessary? No, because again, we say about him killing everybody. But I feel like, I mean, the whole season was setting up he had to be the one that would kill Quinn. And I did like and appreciate that at the last moment he remembered who Reacher was. Because I think that was what was kind of missing, because he didn't even know why Reacher hated him so much. So at the end, him remembering, that he killed him, or, kind of killed him, almost killed him the first time. That made it more of a satisfying ending.
Yeah. It was, I mean, they labored to make Quinn unlikable. Awful. You were going to say awful, right, Jamie?
Yeah.
They made him much worse than your average gun dealer, international illegal arms dealer, because they made him like a psycho who likes torturing people and likes killing people and sells women, right? And like they just
likes to cut off their body parts because he thinks it's fun. Yeah.
I mean, he even look at this horrible shirt that is too small for him. He should be shot for that also. But like, did I wonder, would there be a moment when Neely would say, don't do it, Reacher, let them I don't know. I haven't read the books. Neely is very like, okay, boss, whatever you want to do, this is your deal. And she walks away. They all walk away and let Reacher shoot.
You keep calling her Neely, but yes.
It's Neely. It's not Neely. Her name is Neely. You're pronouncing it as written. Her name is Neely.
Oh, it is? Okay.
He calls her Neely. He calls her Neely. He addresses her as Neely.
I clearly don't pay enough attention then.
Yeah, the G is silent, and you can see it, and we can see it here on the screen. You and I can see it because I've captioned the photograph, right? And it is spelled like Neely, but it's pronounced Neely.
I never noticed that.
The G is silent.
I clearly don't pay enough attention to what they say. But okay.
Yeah, the G silent. Like, did I wonder, would there be a moment where Reacher would allow him to be taken in? We just can't think of like the number of people Reacher has killed and how like there's just no way any he murdered this guy with his bare hands in the semi truck. Did he wipe down his fingerprints? How was Reacher allowed to just walk away from the scene and get on a motorcycle and ride off? Like, how are they all not being questioned?
Done that quite a few times,
right?
Yeah,
Particularly, this is like the third year in a row that Reacher has been involved in like like everywhere Reacher goes, like there's like massive explosions and tons, right? Like this guy.
Dead bodies, and he just sort of walks away from it.
Mhm.
He walks away with his toothbrush, and everybody's
So
happy.
it's a little, you know, the way he's able to just walk away with not even being questioned by the police, really.
Yeah.
But
Well,
anyway,
they stopped the arms deal, or the guns from going where they were.
Yeah.
Headed. He still
Yeah.
got his money, so.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm being a little more critical because this is my least favorite season of Reacher. And
Definitely mine too. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, like I said, it's. I kind of view this show like I do Nine Bodies. I have it's a fun show to watch, but if you go too deep into it, some of it falls apart.
I guess, but you can't even scratch the surface the tiniest bit of this show. I mean, at least Duffy gets fired. So like Duffy gets fired in the end, right?
Yeah. Which
Because
actually was surprising to me. I figured they'd somehow fix it.
right?
Yeah, the way this show is, I really thought they'd somehow
Like-
fix it. So yeah,
like-
she's not gonna be.
Villeneuve has no consequences. Reacher has no consequences. Duffy gets fired. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of surprising that she got fired. And wasn't also allowed off scot-free. But I just this was. I know these books are very popular. The guy who writes them, I forget his name right now.
Isn't it Lee Childs?
Lee Child, yeah. Maybe by cutting his book down to like 8 episodes, maybe they are making screenwriting choices that are dumbing it down a little bit. Let me give this guy the benefit of the doubt on that one, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is a short season.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And also, sometimes things work better in books than they do on television too. Like television, I think sometimes they don't want it to be boring, so they amp it up more than you necessarily need it to be to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could have done without seeing Reacher kill people in every single episode. That's
Yeah,
my final thoughts.
he was just a little too murdery.
Yeah,
me.
I mean, it was still fun. It wasn't bad. It just the other seasons were a lot better.
Yeah. So maybe we can get a little I mean, Reacher's always killed guys who needed to be killed, but I thought we maybe had a more thoughtful Reacher in past seasons, right?
Yeah.
They're just getting a little
Yeah, that was one of the things that I liked about Reacher too, is a lot of it was him using his brain. And I feel like he used his brain a lot less in this season.
yeah. Do you know, is there going to be another Reacher movie?
You mean with Tom Cruise?
No, with Alan Richardson playing Reacher. Like,
a movie? Yeah, but you said a movie. I didn't know there was.
Yeah, well, there was originally originally was going to be a film franchise, right?
I didn't realize that. I thought that was only with Tom Cruise. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, then it was a failure, and so Tom Cruise never made any more movies because the entire fan base was like, Tom Cruise is like 5'8". Like what? How?
Yeah,
like
you can't be Reacher,
right?
That
Like,
never made sense.
And that movie was not a hit, and so they did not go ahead with the franchise. But it was supposed to be like a series of movies. There are a lot of fans who would like to see that movie remade with Richardson. I mean, that would never happen. That seems to be like a waste of money. Plus, like, who in Hollywood wants to piss off Tom Cruise? Probably nobody. But so, like, maybe
That's
movie.
right. It was renewed, though. That's what I was looking to see. It was renewed for season 4 already.
Yeah. Yeah, it was already renewed.
I don't know if this would be better as a movie or a series. I feel like it might not work as a movie as well. But then again, I don't know how they would do it, so I don't know. But
I don't know. And yet in a movie, you could cut so much out and only really streamline the plot and not have like, I don't know. I mean, plenty of books have been made into movies that were fine, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it would or not. I do think I'd like to see Alan Richardson on the big screen and see what he can do in a movie. I guess he's been in some movies, but I haven't seen them. And and certainly not as a franchise character. But Amazon owns this, and these are hit. I mean, look, it was a hit this season, right? People love Reacher, and he's likable. He's a good Reacher. I just hope maybe he is like doesn't. I don't even mind him killing people who deserve to be killed, but he was like when he's killing a guy just because he can't find a rope. Like that guy's job was just being he was like a truck driver for a bad boss, but and he was driving a truck full of illegal guns, but he wasn't like kidnapping women, drugging women, and giving them to gangsters for to be abused. He was like, I mean, Reacher killed that guy for like no reason at all. I'd just like my Reacher to be a little less. In the end, is like when Reacher gets like that, is he any better than any of the guys he's killing? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's not torturing them. At least, I guess there's that. But yeah, no, I agree. There was way too much of a killing front this season.
I'm also looking forward to the Neely spinoff. She's a PI is her job, right? And she's a PI like with Reacher's kind of training, but with a different job and a different and she also like Neely can fight, but it's not going to be like Reacher where we're just going to see.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be more of the detective part of it, maybe.
Yeah, she's a small woman, so she's good with a gun and good with her brain, and she can fight, but
it might be less action, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't know when that's coming. So
yeah, I don't know. I just had heard it was. Beyond that, I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Well.
All right, Reacher. We'll see you next season.
Bodies.
9 bodies in a Mexican morgue.
I guess they can see it if they're watching it, but I put it in the chat too since she had asked.
This is the second to last episode.
Yeah, this is the penultimate episode. Now, we had long discussions about this episode in the chat. I know there are quite a few hot plot holes in this that are kind of coming out at this point, I think, with this episode.
Oh my God. I thought of Just Me as I was watching this because I remember it was Just Me's comment in the chat last week about I think it was Just Me who said, if it's it's probably some random person we've never met before. And that will be really, I'm not quoting exactly, but I'm pretty sure Just Me was like, I'll be pretty mad if that's the case. Golden Child might have agreed. I agree, right? To introduce someone.
Have some theories since watching. Yes, I think Trace, I agree. I think the first season of Reacher was the best of the 3.
Yeah. All right. Well, before you get there, so quickly in this episode,
we find out more about Zach is the first thing because he's having a flashback.
That was so annoying.
I felt like none of the other characters got flashbacks. It kind of annoys me that we saw a flashback, but at least they're trying to build his character a little bit more. But
why his and nobody else's? Why?
I guess because he's the hero. I don't know.
He's dead now.
I don't know, because I was going to say, I still thought and still, well, I mean, at the end of this episode, you don't think that, but I had told you that I wondered if he was a dirty DEA agent and if that was potentially, what was going to happen and that they were doing that to confuse you or to fool you or whatever. But the fact that they gave him more backstory, I guess, is they're trying to
what? I don't even know what they're trying to do.
I don't know, to make you like him more. I'm not sure.
I think they're trying to fill up minutes of the show. I think they're just trying to fill stuff up because I did not require, none of this really established anything more than a normal marriage of a normal person who, I mean, I guess it established that he wasn't lying about having a wife, but who cares if he was? And really, to me, the most annoying part of this entire show is the fact that his wife, they are DEA agents and partners. She says in this episode, we're both in the DEA and we're partners. And I'm like, oh my God, only on TV can you be married? Can partners be married, right? Come on.
Well, maybe they were married before they became partners. Who knows? No, I know you're right.
You cannot be married to your partner. oh my God, it was like a 3-year long story arc on Blue Bloods that like partners can't date, but like in NYPD, you can't even work in like the same precinct as your
That's why I
spouse.
said maybe they were married and then they hired him. I don't know if that's possible, but
It's not
probably
possible. It's not.
It's
It's
not
only on
possible.
TV. At any rate, it was also stupid and unnecessary. Like I don't even know. Like introducing his wife, I don't even get because next week is the last episode, right? Like
Yeah. I think it's funny that like they've done the one body an episode and it's like all of a sudden they ramped it up at the end. And I think that yeah, I'm kind of like, how are they going to wrap it up in one episode? But they did quite a lot in this episode.
well, they
fair.
start by killing these two,
Yeah,
which
and you're not sure at first, and because he's talking to her and saying he loves her and everything, and then you see like because we weren't sure at first, but they see like the blood on the leaves above them, and you realize after that they're both dead. Now, this is where one of the big plot holes that annoys me comes, is the fact that okay, when they get to them, why do I always forget his damn name? I keep wanting to call him
Dan.
Adam.
His name is Dan.
Dan. And their interview is up, by the way, if nobody saw it. But anyway, so Dan is like gurgling blood. He's not quite dead, right? So why is it that like nobody really checked them, or like I felt like especially with the doctor, like they didn't really check to make sure they both were completely dead, and that kind of annoyed me.
Actually, I mean, what annoyed me is that they appear to have been each shot in the back about 7 or 8 times. And so, how did nobody hear a gun go off? But then wait, I'm not done. Let me complete, Jamie. Let me complete my sentence, please. And then I thought, okay, maybe those aren't gunshots. Maybe they were stabbed somehow. But how could you stab each of them 8 times and they just remain sitting there leaning on each other beautifully like that and not like fall over
or fight back either,
right? Like, so
yeah.
Did you think they were shot or did you think they were stabbed? And did you
I
think
thought they were shot at first, but then after I figured they must be stabbed because like I thought, they would have heard it.
But how could they be? How could you like stab them both while they're sitting there and not have either one of them get up, fight, try to move? Right? This is not like a serial killer who poses people after they're dead. They were sitting in that position and were killed, right?
And that is one of the biggest plot holes in my opinion is that you're right. And they just kind of sit there propped up and they're fine. I don't know. I forget who had said it. I don't know if it was just me or it might have been Lee. I don't remember, but somebody in the chat was saying like, if it was something like a scalpel, do you necessarily feel it right away? Like if it's like a teeny cut or like a really thin cut, I don't know. Like could it have been with the doctor? Well, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a doctor. I'm just saying, like, could it have been with his scalpel or something? Because he had like tools there. I don't know that would have mattered. I still feel like you can't kill 2 people without one of them attacking you. It doesn't work that way. They don't sit still for you.
That begs the question. So I'm not a doctor, but a scalpel is a pretty short blade, right? Like only an inch or 2 long, and like your back is all muscle. Like how deep do you have to stab somebody to get them to die with something small like a scalpel, right? A scalpel is not.
I kind of assumed it was supposed to be Travis's knife, but they would definitely move and fight back. And like Golden Child saying they wouldn't stay sitting up either. Like she was leaning against him and he was like sitting straight up and didn't fall over. And there's just so many problems with these murders. I don't know if they just wanted to make it look cool or what the reasoning was, but it's the start of the plot holes in my opinion.
I think Jamie, you are onto something there, that they were more interested in making it look like she's asleep, he's confessing to her, is she asleep, is she right, like what's going on here, and like to lull you into thinking that they're not dead, and then they're dead, and how do they not follow? I mean, can you be dead and sit up? They're not in a bar stool, there's no back on the chair, and they're sitting up. I guess because it just made no sense, right? Then we had Kevin go off the deep end even more than usual in this episode.
They trust each other even less than they did before. And I've said before, 3 people together could potentially be safe because they can watch each other. You don't want to go off in groups of 2 though, which is like the worst thing. But he's kind of like, well, I ain't going with either of you.
Well, so I mean, and yet these 2 stuck together and they were the first ones killed, right?
Yeah, I know. So it really helped, didn't it?
And then Kevin's like, I'm going off by myself because I don't trust you guys. And Sonia's like, you must be nuts. You can't go off by yourself. Like, you're totally gonna, like, it actually was making me think, oh, Kevin must be the killer, because why would you want to go off by yourself? Like, it's obviously the worst thing you can do. You're definitely getting killed, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, Kevin is like, who's maybe Kevin's the killer.
I also kind of question, like, if they know that there's a killer, right? They know there's a possibility. Now, we don't know at this point, but we're kind of like, there's a possibility still that it could be somebody that's not one of those three. Because of what Amy's seen and because of what happens. And I think we didn't necessarily think it was, but they have reason to think that it could be, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of question that she makes him get rid of the gun. Like, she made him get rid of the bullet and take the bullet out, but why take the gun away? What if you guys need it later? Like, that to me was not smart to say, throw the gun in the piranhas.
But she believes that they are hours away from being saved, that the transmitter is transmitting, a helicopter has already flown over, or she believes will fly over, and she thinks they only have to survive a couple more hours.
Yes. Although they have mentioned, now they didn't hear it, but they mentioned, like, with the other people when they're doing the rescue, that like they don't know the exact location and they're in the middle of the jungle. So that's really, really extremely optimistic.
Right, but she's not an aviation or
No,
search
I
and
know,
rescue expert, and she believes that they're going to be rescued any minute now.
That's fair. I just think they could have both kept their guns and it would have worked better. But at any rate, she makes him throw the gun in the cenote.
I mean, he can still hit you in the head, kill you with that gun without a bullet. It's still a weapon.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
He could, like, how many people get killed on TV by just like one crack from a gun on the head, right?
No, you're right. But I'm kind of, during part of that though, I'm also thinking though, well, why does she get to keep the gun? Like,
because she has the gun.
Yeah, she has the gun, but they're not trying to. I don't know. In the end, they kind of. I mean, I don't want to say they were okay with it. Zach ended up trusting her. Obviously, he didn't because he left. But her and Zach decided they would somewhat trust each other, not completely, that they were going to go up together, back up the mountain. And this is when, were they going up there to be rescued or going up to turn the transmitter on? They had already checked the transmitter at this point, right?
Yeah, they keep, like, they go up and down there. If like Dan had made the point, I think last week, that it's 3 hours in each direction. And yet in the last 2 episodes, they've gone up and down there twice now. They just go back and forth all the time, but they go up after. But first, Kevin gets killed. Kevin gets killed, right?
Yeah. Question though, I was going to say, the only thing I was going to say is, we think the transmitter, it just came off the first time. I can't remember if they actually said it.
I don't think it matters. We don't know. I think somebody disconnected it, and I think whoever this person is in the woods at the end of the episode, right? Whoever this person is, it's them who did it, maybe. But we don't really know, and it kind of almost doesn't really matter for these guys, right?
Yeah. So her and Zach head up the mountain.
Which that's after Kevin is killed. They go up the mountain.
Yes, which I was just going to say. No, he's killed while they're on the mountain because they hear it while they're on the mountain, right? Isn't that when they hear it? They hear the gunshot.
No, because they pull him out and they see his face has been eaten by piranhas.
Right, but they get part way up the mountain because Zach says something like, "We're closer to the bottom than the top."
Yeah. They hear a gunshot, right?
Yeah,
and they're like,
I think the biggest point is the gunshot.
Yeah,
but they find him face down in the cenote. Now, my instant thought with this is, how do we know it's Kevin? And I know this is what we discussed at length in the chat after. I had wondered if it was possible he took one of the other bodies, but I think it was just me who suggested Dan, I think. But that it could not be him, because his hands are all, the reason why I thought maybe it was like an older dead body was because the hands are in the water too, and like they would have been eaten away. But it actually looks like his hands are fine when they pull him out. But the point is, he has no face, so you don't know anything. But the main thing, at least to me, the main clue and the problem with is like, well, there's a gun. How did he get a gun? So either somebody else is there or he had one stashed. I don't know. But yeah, they find him. He's face down. So I don't know. What did you think about that? Did you take it at face value?
I didn't think about it until you just said it. at the end of the episode, I'm thinking who it can be. Who can it be? I'm like, it must be Kevin. Like, oh no, Kevin's face got eaten by piranhas. It can't be Kevin. Of all people, it's not Kevin. But this is a good point. And now you're making me think that earlier in the episode, we do see Kevin looking at the body. All the bodies have been moved, right? And he's looking at all the shrouded bodies.
Yeah. My other thought was, is it possible that it was Dan? Because like I said, they didn't really check he was 100% dead.
No,
But
there's no way that he has. Oh, you mean that it's Dan's body, or that Dan is the killer?
Well, I'm saying it could be Dan's body and he changed the body, and he's alive, or is it possible that Dan wasn't dead all the way?
No, there's no way he has all those stab. He has the same stab marks that killed Amy, and that they don't kill him to the point that he can walk around, change clothes with a dead body, with Kevin's kill Kevin, change clothes.
I guess that's true. He couldn't do that much.
Drag, right? There's no way.
Yeah. But I don't know. At this point, I was thinking, is it Kevin? We have no proof it's Kevin. Yeah. So that was the idea there.
It's wearing all of Kevin's clothes.
Yes.
And appears to have Kevin's hair, maybe.
Maybe it looks like it might be a little darker. It's hard to tell, to be honest.
Well, it's wet.
But I don't know if the other characters are the same height as him. I hadn't really, because I thought Dan was shorter. I don't know why, but is this showing you good? I like it, Trace. I mean, we were saying earlier, it's not something you can pull too deep into, or there's some plot holes, but I mean, for what it is, like a fun murder mystery, I liked it. Karen liked it less than me. But yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I recommend it. Did you like it more after this episode, or are you still kind of?
I think it might be falling apart here at the end. So all right. So after this, it occurs to me, like, yeah, could Kevin have switched the body? And it explains what happens maybe more at the end, where Zach and Sonia go back up the hill, right?
Yeah.
Actually, one thing that bothers me about this show is their use of vocabulary. I know that the body of water is called a cenote, right?
Yeah.
It's like a sinkhole kind of thing, right?
Filled with piranhas. Beyond that, I don't know.
Well, it happened. This one happens to be filled with piranhas. It's not like a definite that all cenotes don't have piranhas in them, right? But this one does. But it's like a water sinkhole kind of thing is what a cenote is, right? And it just kind of bothers me the number of times that they're like, throw the gun on the cenote, fell on the cenote, and I just like, and I'm just like, oh, wouldn't they just say throw it in the water, throw it in the pond, and then later
I said throw it in the piranhas.
And then more than once, they also talk about climbing the escarpment, right? And yes, I know that it's an escarpment. I just feel like, wouldn't everybody be like, let's climb up the cliff, let's climb up the mountain? Like,
I question, he can climb up the mountain that far of a trek with his toe the way it is, and doesn't seem very bothered by it.
I think he seems very bothered by it, actually.
I mean, he's bothered by it, but I feel like he shouldn't have been able to make it up as easy as he did.
He's in pain, and it's well, I mean, he's at gunpoint and maybe being chased by a killer, right? Like, he doesn't really have a choice.
I guess, but it's a 3-hour trick. I would think he'd be almost falling over at that point. But they make it to the top, and it's very, very cloudy, so the helicopter can't see him or whatever because of
that's the title of this episode, cloud cover.
Yeah. And I really was like yelling at Sonia, like, why are you leaving him there? You knew this was going to go bad. Don't leave. He can't chase after you easy because, number one, he has no shoe on now at this point, but his foot's hurt. And she leaves and he's trying to chase after her.
Whoops. Sorry, I'm having trouble with the pictures.
No, that's okay. Zach is telling her not to leave, and it ends up that he sees, I think he hears the struggle and hears a gunshot, right? I'm trying to remember.
She doesn't get shot. She gets clocked in the head with a piece of wood. He hears the struggle.
The gunshot's after.
Does she shoot a stray shot off? No, I think he hears the struggle And then he's like, Sonia, 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 and there's no answer, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So he goes forward and the person there comes up and shoots him, and he appears in the way I could see from it. Looks like he goes flying off the cliff.
Yes, I thought he got shot right off the cliff. I thought.
Yeah. Then the person goes back over to her and shoots her. But before that happens, she says, you bastard. So she clearly knows this person. Now, this was the other discussion we kind of had. Does that mean it's somebody? I mean, it assumingly is somebody that she knows. I kind of wondered if it was a possibility that her husband's alive and that it's not one of the 10, and that, that's why she knows him, and that he, for whatever reason, faked his death because he wanted the drugs. I don't know. That was my other idea. Because here's where I have the biggest problem with this, that's a plot hole, and this may resolve itself, but there are 10 dead people. Well, we're assuming 10 if they all die. There's 9 bodies is the big thing, 9 bodies, right? So there's 10 people. So if one of the 10 is still alive, right? We know that 9 bodies end up in the Mexican morgue because that's the title.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell do they get his body when it goes flying off the cliff? Like, if not all 10 of them are dead, there should be a missing body, right? So that's why I started thinking, is it possible it's somebody outside the group? Could it be her husband? Could it be somebody else she knows? I mean, I don't think it's going to be a random person. It has to have some kind of connection to him. But yeah. So my thought going out of this episode was, it's either Kevin who put somebody else in his clothes, or it's maybe her husband. Because it's got to be somebody we have some kind of connection to. All I know is the creator said it's not about who's the killer is, but about why, which could mean, a hell of a lot of things. So those were my theories. But I was surprised that they potentially killed 5 people in one episode after they did it one at a time. And then there's like 5 of them are dead. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think that if it was Sonia's husband, I would smash my television and tell everyone to never watch this show ever, because okay, first of all, he died of an overdose, right? So how he could be alive, whatever.
I don't know. I just wonder.
But like, that would be so infuriating, because it's a person that wasn't even like. That would be infuriating, right? Like, I get it, Jamie. Right. I get you're speculating and you're spitballing, and it's not a bad idea, but it's an idea that would make me so mad.
Well, my main problem with it was, if it's Kevin, which is what I suspected, like almost instantly, that it was Kevin, because I thought you can't prove it's Kevin's face. I immediately thought, though, like I said, if it's Kevin, how the hell did he get the 9th body? Because, okay, he could maybe carry Sonia back down the hill dead. Okay. But he flew off somewhere off the cliff. There's no way to get that body back. So that's what made me suspect that it might be somebody else. That was my main reasoning for suspecting that, is that body count.
I mean, I guess it's possible Zach just fell down the hill a little bit. I mean,
it looks like he goes flying off, though, from the way
it does look like that. But how many times have you seen a person go flying off a cliff, and then it turns out they caught hold of a little stick down there and they're hanging on down there, right? Like,
yeah, I was going to say, so another person I talked to, my other friend, said that he thinks maybe that he's alive, so that could solve that problem. I don't know. If they have the body count off, it'll piss me off, because that's like a humongous plot hole.
It has to be. Look,
can't do
back at the morgue, there are 10 passports, 9 bodies, right?
Yes, they can't mix that up. I mean, that would make, they wouldn't get the show made if they mix that up. So there has to be something.
So if there was a stowaway, that would be 11. Like, in this episode, Sonia becomes convinced there was a stowaway, and it's the stowaway who is killing them, right? Yeah. Which is something that we talked about in the comments last week. But then there would be 10 bodies. Right, and it's the 11th so 10 people.
Unless they don't find Zach, if he's off past.
I don't think that can be it. I don't think that can be the mystery, that they just didn't find one of the bodies. That would be. We have spent so much time. Like, some of the things that bother me about this show is the amount of time we spend at the Mexican morgue and this long discussion about like the pilots are lazy and nobody wants to work and blah, blah, blah. And the American DEA, like all of this going on back at the ranch seems to be totally unnecessary. And in the end, not going anywhere. Right. I don't see where any of that is going other than to malign the Mexican authorities, right? Like it just seems to not have any bearing. Like it could be this rundown military morgue. It could be the most advanced morgue in Mexico, and it still is irrelevant to the show, right? Also, like I was surprised Zach got killed, really because of the time they spent dwelling on his wife. To have him be blown off the cliff. Could he be alive down there still? Look,
it's a TV show.
Also, the fact that the person takes off their mask leads us to Kevin again, right? Because it's somebody that Sonia knows. And I
think because of the mask, therefore somebody we know, I would assume. But
I appreciate you grasping at who could it be. Okay, a husband, but it probably is one of the nine, the other nine, right?
I think it's Zach. Yeah,
it's probably Kevin
or Kevin. I mean, I called him Zach. Kevin.
It's probably Kevin. Look, it has to be either Kevin or Dan. It has to be somebody who was alive this morning.
Yeah. Because it can't be Sonia or Zach, just the way they set it up. It wouldn't make sense.
It can't be Travis or Lisa or
anybody. And it can't be a fake death that happened before because we know they're long dead. We've seen their bodies be.
Yeah, their corpses have all been moved to the same location. Yeah. I think it's Kevin. I think Kevin's standing around the bodies in this episode, like foreshadowed him getting the idea. And we have talked earlier. Kevin maybe isn't even a doctor, or if he is, like Kevin has a financial reason to be a drug runner, or maybe the disgraced doctor is his cover for being in Mexico, right? Or Guatemala, wherever they were coming from. Like he's also probably the most unlikable of all the characters, although none of them was really likable, except maybe Amy. Like Sonia's not that likable. Really?
Yeah. No, they've made everybody be liars who won't help each other. I mean, that's kind of the point. They have absolutely no trust. The only thing I can say is I was right about the final three. I figured that they were going to be the three that were left. And I was right about that.
Well, you knew Eric McCormick and David Ayala had to be.
It just seemed like where it was going that she was going to be one of the final ones too.
I think it looked like Zach got blown off the cliff, but really he probably just fell down a little slope. His dead body's probably right down there. I also don't think that this is a show, the quality of show that's dwelling on what it looked like and what it actually is. I think it's the 9 body.
Just so there's at least 9 bodies. That's.
I guess one other thing that's bothering me is that these bodies have been in this Mexican morgue for at least a day, right? And like no effort is being made to, they're like 10 passports, 9 bodies, someone's missing, what's going on? I'm like, okay, why don't you look at the bodies and try to identify them and decide who's missing? Like what is going on with them not looking at any of the
only
bodies?
thing we know is that they said one of them had no face, which we now know why. But I mean, we're seeing 2 timelines, so I don't know how much time is actually passed at the morgue. You know what I mean? Like, because we're seeing leading up to that too, so I don't know. But let's see. Golden Child says, I think it was Dan. He could have fought if someone stabbed him in the back. They both wouldn't have been left sitting there. I mean, yeah, he could have faked it to get away from whoever the killer was, I guess.
I guess. Do you think if he truly was in love with Amy, that he would have that amount of self-control to sit next to her, faking his death so that he could, or do you think he would have killed Amy and fake. How do you stab yourself in the back like 7 times?
You can't. And I don't know. My idea was more that maybe he wasn't quite dead. But you're right with what he said. If he was stabbed and not quite dead, he still wouldn't be undead enough to, go switch clothes and everything else. But again, it's a TV show. So just like, could I feel like he could be alive just as easy as Zach could be alive. So
I don't think it's Dan, but I like the thought there. I do like Golden Child's second comment. Kevin made the killer made Sonia's murder personal because he took off the mask. Think she double crossed someone. That's interesting. Like, could she be in on it and not have known that her partner was the killer, or not have known even who her partner was?
Yeah. I don't know. You gotta wonder though, like why they've all died one by one. Like, what was there has to be a reason that they've been like killing them one at a time too.
Well, Zach, and Zach says it. Zach's like, Zach says to the person, he's like, why did you kill us all? You could have just like let us get rescued. We would have been out of here and then come back and get the drugs at a later date.
Nobody knew about it, right?
Or run off with them. And then why kill us one by one also? Like, why not just kill them all at once? You got the gun, right? Just kill them all at once. Like hopefully would be explained next week, right?
Yeah.
Why pick them off one by one like that? And with these elaborate, like with poison mushrooms, with all these different ways of. That's one reason why I think it wasn't Dan. I mean, to me, a big wild card is who was able to kill Carlos, aka Rapido, who was seen working out quite a bit and was very strong. And Dan's like a little guy, right? And
I don't know. Dan does seem smaller than them for whatever reason.
To me, one big question is like, who is able to kill the professional?
I'd have to go back because that was my question too. Like I said, if it is Kevin and it was Dan's body, like is he as tall as Kevin? I don't know why I thought he was a lot shorter than Kevin, but I don't know. That's why I said I don't know that he could have killed. I agree with you. I don't know that he could have killed Carlos, but I don't know. Maybe we're underestimating him. I don't know.
Well, because he appears to not be that much taller than his very petite wife. Which is, I mean, he does seem to have some strong arms in this picture.
Yeah,
but
he looks like he's got muscles.
He's not tall. Yeah, I just always felt like whoever killed Carlos had to be kind of a strong person. Because he wasn't shot or stabbed. He was, right? Wasn't he strangled or whatever? But I don't know. We're circling around this and repeating ourselves, but I'm going to predict for next week that it's Kevin.
Yeah, that's where I ended the episode with as well. That was my thought. And that was kind of, I think, where we came to the conclusion we came to. Like I said, we did talk about it being her husband, but I think that would be annoying if it was, like, because we didn't see him beforehand. That was just my stray thought I had, because I'm like, if there's 9, it has to be 9 bodies, it has to be somebody outside of the group. How could we know somebody outside the group? And that was what I came up with. So again, I don't know it's the smartest idea, but that was what I had come up with.
Yeah.
Or was there a stowaway? That's the other thing. Somebody else you said Sonia said it, but somebody else had said that too before.
Sonia becomes convinced that it's a stowaway in this episode, and that someone was like hiding in the cargo hold, which, I mean, Zach raises a question like, really, how'd they survive? Right? Because look how the plane landed. And he's like, how'd they survive 3 hours in the air and the plane crash? That is a really good question. It's one of the.
Could stay in there and when the plane crashed and not come out at some point.
But you're right. It has to be someone who was alive this morning. So it's either Dan or Kevin. And no one has suggested that it was Amy, but it's not, because Sonia would have said, "You bitch," not "you bastard," right?
Yeah, that's a good point. But also, like we said, she couldn't have killed Carlos. Out of all of them, I don't think she could have killed Carlos. So unless she's like some ninja we don't know about, I don't think she killed Carlos. So yeah, I'm gonna say
I don't think either person who's been stabbed in the back multiple times was capable of doing it. But so my money's on
not
Kevin.
if he was really stabbed in the back,
Yeah.
and you can't stab yourself in the back. So I'm not sure how that could have happened and worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, just me, says Kevin. Yeah,
All right.
that's my consensus too.
We're gonna find out next week.
Yep. All right.
All right.
All right. Let's move on to
Daredevil. There were 2 episodes of Daredevil this week. There was episode 5 was the bank robbery.
Yes,
and
which was the better of the two.
It was what, AJ?
Fun.
Yes.
I
agree.
I'm surprised to hear AJ. Actually, I'm not surprised to hear AJ say it was fun. Online opinions on that episode are mixed. A lot of people feel like it was a waste of time.
Most people don't know how to have fun.
Truly, you could not watch that episode and not miss anything, right? Like, it is, I read a long criticism of it today that talked about it as being the definition of a filler episode. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I think I don't know. I just thought it was a fun episode.
That's why I enjoyed it. I don't like this show, and I thought this was lighter and more fun, and that's why I liked it. It was like it was a tonal shift for this show, and I don't like the tone of this show, so that's why I enjoyed this episode.
And I appreciated since they brought Kamala's dad into it.
Yeah, I like that Kamala's dad.
I like the fact that he mentioned that she was in California, because otherwise, during a bank robbery, it would have taken her 5 minutes to get there to kick everybody's ass, and it would have been over. So I like the fact that they had an excuse to why she wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it also kind of hints at her creating the Young Avengers.
Well, I mean, that is one criticism of it, that it did feel like just one big like advertisement for a different show, right? Like, it was a big advertisement for a different show and a different character and a different thing that's coming, complete with
So what? I mean,
I'm just saying why some people didn't like it.
No, I know. I'm not saying you. I'm saying that's what I'm saying to people out there is, so what? It was still fun. It didn't take away from it or anything, and it added to his journey. I mean, he's still doing the right thing even without the suit on and finding ways to do it. And it was just it's fun to see Matt in those kind of ways sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as I so enjoyed Ms. Marvel, and as much as I enjoyed Kamala, I really enjoyed her whole family in that series also, right? And we enjoyed her dad. And it was a little this episode was a lot more like some of the other Marvel shows. And I think that maybe that's why they dropped these two together, so that they could have this fun, lighter episode, but then people who didn't like it and felt it was a waste of time could immediately watch the next hour and get their dosage of darkness and people being beaten to death and things like that, right?
True.
Jamie did not watch. Jamie, did you watch Miss Marvel? Yes, you did watch Miss Marvel along with us, right?
Yes, I did. Give me 1 second. You're going to hear double if I don't.
I know. She's switching to her iPad.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you guys. I was doing that.
You did
Am I
watch
good now? Yes,
Yeah,
I watched Miss Marvel. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciated seeing him again. I like his character. I thought the bits with him and Daredevil are funny. Anyway, I enjoyed the parts with him and how he interacted with him. But I liked both the episodes. So yeah, I mean, I did definitely like this one better. That's for sure. But I like how he tricked them and snuck down to the vault himself, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I guess there's an element of like, Matt is starting to. I mean, he doesn't go full Daredevil, right? Because he can't like run. So Daredevil, I think, has to run home and get his costume. He's not like Spider-Man or Superman, where it's always under his clothes, right?
To wear it under his clothes if he's going to start using it, though.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing though. Matt is not being Daredevil right now. You know what I mean? So he's not going to just let people get hurt or killed if he's in a situation where he can do something to help with it. But he's, it's not till the next episode he has no choice but to be Daredevil.
Yeah.
In this one, yeah, but even if he was Daredevil, you're right. He doesn't really keep it under he's not Spider-Man or Superman and keeping it under his shirt.
Yeah.
Right. But I disagree a little bit. I do think Matt is going to let people get hurt, even though he can do something about it. That's kind of what his whole struggle has been about this season, right? That people are being hurt, and Matt is like, "Too bad, I'm retired. I'm not going to go out there." And
what I mean by that is like if it's in a situation where he's right there, you know what I mean? Like he's not going out looking for it, but if it comes to him,
right? Like he's literally in the room and when it's happening. So okay.
Yeah. He won't.
Yeah.
He won't just sit there and let people die.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I liked his reaction and how he he eventually goes after these bad guys. I didn't like the silliness with the diamond at the end.
And I thought it was cute. I mean, it was unnecessary, but I like how he put it back in the candy bowl. It was silly.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, I did.
Because it's yellow. I mean, look, Yusuf is not the rightful owner of that. I guess Yusuf will go put it back in the person's
of course he will.
deposit box.
Yeah, I will put it back.
I think leaving it in the candy certainly left the opportunity for it to go astray.
Well, that's why he took the piece of candy, so he'd notice it. I mean, he didn't just
it's risky. Like it's risky. That the next customer could come in there and find it. But whatever. It was a silly little thing. It's a comic book story, whatever. It was fine. It was a good standalone kind of episode, but you could skip it and not miss anything for sure, right? It's all vaguely tied into Luca owes money to Kingpin that he can't pay. And
he has to rob a bank. Yeah,
how he knows there's a gigantic raw diamond sitting in a certain box is anybody's guess, but he's going to send these guys in to try to find this diamond, which I guess he will give to Kingpin or Fence and give I don't know. It's all very kind of loosely tied to Kingpin. And then it's over and we get back to like real story.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the one-off, and I like that they brought him in. I wouldn't mind if they did that again. I mean, you're right. Did we really need it? And is it kind of advertising for the other show? Yeah, but that's okay. I don't mind the crossover moments, and I really like Kamala and her family. So
yeah, and I like it better. I like this show is like just I just don't like the tone. Look, you guys know I just don't like this show. And so I
like the lighthearted tone. I did enjoy the tone better of this one. Not lighthearted, but it isn't quite as dark, I guess is the better.
I think also like this could be, if people didn't like this episode, they may be people who didn't watch Ms. Marvel. No, Ms. Marvel was Ms. Marvel's the show. The Marvels was the terrible movie, right? Maybe if you don't watch every single MCU TV show, this might not land well with you, right? And if you only watch, especially if you're only a Daredevil watcher, then this really might not land with you, right?
Yeah, but I think it made sense. And I think if you've seen any promos for Miss Marvel, he was talking about her.
Yeah. And I like a good heist movie, right? So that was fun also.
Yeah.
So then we get back to normal in the next episode, which is called, I forget what it's called. But we're back to Muse in this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't flick my pictures here. I'm sorry. But now we got back to more of the serialized story in the next episode. So, how'd you guys like the second episode?
I didn't mind it. I mean, I kind of agree with what you said though. Like, I don't know that I necessarily need a serial killer because this is supposed to be more about, him and it's getting a little dark for this kind of show. But I mean, it didn't bother me. I didn't hate it. It wasn't bad. I didn't mind it. What did you think, AJ?
I honestly I liked a lot more of the Fisk stuff this week.
Yeah.
Him creating the anti-vigilante task force.
Yeah.
I thought was a pretty big moment.
The thing is, not all those cops are bad, right? Just like
the ones that he put together, yeah, they're all bad.
Well, because the way they framed it, they made like that one guy. It sounded like some of them. I don't know. It wasn't super clear to me that they were for sure, but I figured since he selected them, they had to be.
Yeah, they absolutely are. They've all been excessive force or any, different things of that nature. They've all been branded.
Oh yeah, they're the worst of the worst. They've mostly been fired, or they've all been fired. They all went outside the law. The irony is that Fisk is saying he wants to fight vigilantes,
but that's kind of what they are.
And he's creating a vigilante force, extrajudicial, that answers only to him, right? He's creating an army, his own personal army of bad guys.
Because they're in line with his thought process.
Yeah. Well, because he ultimately is a bad guy, is a mob boss and a dictator and and a guy who, he calls them bad apples, right? They're all bad apples. No body cameras. They report only to him. One guy, remember that one guy who's like, oh, well, this 11-year-old was there trying to sell drugs and he wouldn't come clean. Like, he basically confesses to beating up a child into confessing, right? They're all
okay. Evil. See, I must have misheard a line there. That makes more sense now that you said that. I thought he beat the adult that was trying to sell the kid drugs. That's why I'm like, are they all?
No, the kid was the one selling the drugs.
Okay, that makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah,
I must have misheard the line.
Yeah. Okay. So what's a little bit unclear here, and AJ or Jamie, if you can connect these dots for me, I know why Fisk is anti-vigilante, because he's been the victim of a vigilante of both Daredevil and of Echo, who wasn't really a vigilante at that time, but and maybe others, but he deserved it.
Yes.
But I don't really get this. So Muse, they're going after Muse, and Muse is a killer. But Muse isn't a vigilante. He kills innocent people, right?
Right.
I'm not getting the line that Fisk is we have to go. Oh, there's a serial killer. Oh, so we better go after vigilantes. And I'm creating a vigilante.
Well, I think it will become vigilantes that go after they get rid of Muse, probably.
It's a stepping stone, but
that's
Fisk
what he eventually wants to do.
But Fisk also sees Muse in a light as a vigilante for the simple fact that Muse is going around town painting demeaning photos of Kingpin.
Yeah, they're all murals that are critical of Kingpin, really, right?
Yeah. But you're right with what you're saying. He's not a vigilante, but I think it's the idea that once they get rid of Muse, they'll go after Daredevil and all the other vigilantes.
But why? What? There's not.
It's his platform that he ran on.
but the people of the city like kind of want vigilantes to come back and help them because the police are useless. Like a huge part of the storyline is Angela being like, you can't trust the police. They literally do not do anything. They're not interested. Like,
well, that's why he's
bad.
trying to make it like they are doing something, I think is the idea. He's like, well, we're going to get rid of this serial killer. I made a special task force. Now the police will be looked in a better light. Like, I think he's acting like he's fixing it. He's not, but he's trying to make it look like
he's self-serving. It's all it is. He's self-serving. It doesn't really matter what the people, he talks about, oh, I love this city and I'm making it better, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't really care what the people actually need or want. He's doing what is best for him.
Well, much like another leader in our contemporary society, he's just all about domination, right?
Yes.
And like getting his way and using government, to enrich himself and also to just like get what he wants. I just, the line for me on like going after vigilantes isn't really clear. I guess I can see why the police don't want vigilantes around. First of all, I mean, a big part of this show, and I think the previous Daredevil, is like a critique of law enforcement, right? And law enforcement in Daredevil's world is not to be trusted, is not effective, is fully corrupt, right?
It is now.
And generally like police and their police brutality runs through all of this.
Yeah, I mean the problem is a lot of times you know there's fewer good cops than there are bad cops. But it depends too. It's I mean, by the time I'm trying to think, because like there's one detective that's really a really good guy, and he's got a lot of good cops behind him. But it's gotten to, and that's towards the end of the original run. Now things are have gotten worse. Things have ran rampant. I mean, people elected Wilson Fisk as their mayor, a guy who has been to prison for mob crimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they were just like desperate, I guess, again, people like this.
And apparently there's, for all the people we see on BB's little show there, it's like, oh, this is great. We need more vigilantes,
Mm-hmm.
They are the minority because more people voted for Fisk than
Yeah. So, okay. Then we see a bunch of like behind the scene. We also see Fisk like losing his shit in this episode, right? Like Fisk loses it with Adam, which is his main. Like he's obviously very obsessed with his wife, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
And he goes through some things in this episode. I think Fisk has
with Adam, you just have the picture of that guy up and you're like confusing me. I'm like, he didn't go after him. You're just showing the wrong picture and confusing me, Karen.
It's not the wrong picture. Disney will only release like 2 photographs.
No, I know, but I thought when you said Adam, I thought you meant his not advisor, the guy that works for him.
That's
Daniel. And I'm like, wait, what? You were confusing me. Yeah.
This is the only picture of Wilson Fisk that we have.
No, that's fine. I get it. I just was confused.
I'm not showing the wrong picture. I'm showing
I was looking at the wrong. I get it.
But he goes through, I think he has like a few humiliations, Fisk, right? Like therapy has been humiliating for him. He loves his wife, but he feels a little emasculated by her. And so basically he has to go to a fundraiser and everybody's mean to him. I felt like this was also like a very Donald Trumpy kind of moment in the way that like when Trump became president in his first term and like all of Hollywood was like, oh my God, we loved Obama, we hate you. And he got none of the like celebrity love that a president usually gets, right? And I feel like it wasn't the same, but Fisk is kind of like that. Like he's like, oh, I'm the mayor. And they're all like, look, like you could
We don't care who you are.
We don't care who you are. We are the rich and powerful and we run the city, not you. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very it was kind of I think humiliating and infuriating for him.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of directly leads to what happens later in the episode, right?
Yeah, when he beats it. And I'm sorry. I'm screaming. I'm yelling. I know what's going to happen, but I'm yelling at TV. I'm like, Adam, just
pick up the damn axe.
Just no. Don't pick up the axe. Sit there. Don't do anything. Picking up the axe was the stupidest thing he could have done.
I thought you meant once he was out. Once he had the
No. Nope. Don't pick up the axe. He wants you to. Do not do it.
Well, that's Fisk's way of making it a fair fight, supposedly, right?
Well, I get that, but it really is.
Yeah, and you only play. Yes, I agree, Jay. You only play into his scenario. But I guess Adam has been down there so long and been so probably beaten up a million times and has to take his chance, maybe. I mean, but before that happened in the previous scene, I wanted to ask you, AJ, did you recognize Jack Duquesne, the wealthy guy at the party who criticizes Fisk?
Oh yeah, swordsman.
Yeah. It's Kate's mother's boyfriend, right? Who became swordsman at the end.
Yes.
Jamie, that's from the Hawkeye series, which I think you didn't watch.
No, I watched Hawkeye, but I don't remember.
Oh. Yeah, you might not remember this side plot where Kate's mother had this boyfriend who...
Or no, wait, Hawkeye isn't... I'm thinking... Yeah, Hawkeye's the one with the girl. Yeah, I saw Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Hawkeye. But
yeah,
I saw that.
But he really... But yeah, Adam has no chance, right? I don't... Even if he, like... How does he even get out of there, even if he...
Adam could have had a gun and had no chance.
Yeah. I thought Fisk was going to beat him to death, but he seems to be still alive at the end, right?
Yeah. Barely, but he's alive.
Yeah. That was really terrible. So that is intercut simultaneously. Muse kidnaps Angela. So why did he go after Angela? Like, she's White Tiger.
Wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, because she went down to that creepy subway station where she told Matt, like, I think, like, there's something going on with the subway stop. And
Angela's decided to take investigation of her uncle's murder into her own hands. Coupled with the missing people.
She should have known with what she said that was coming. I mean, it was pretty obvious.
Well, little fun fact about Angela. I mean, obviously she's too young for anything to matter anytime soon, but in the comics, she's an eventual White Tiger.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. She's the fourth White Tiger.
Oh, yeah, in Marvel, just because someone dies doesn't mean somebody else takes up the mask and becomes
anytime, other family members have taken up the mantle through the years. Yeah.
So she's in the wrong place at the wrong time when Muse just grabs her because she's down there.
Yeah.
This was very I guess these are some of the things that when I say I don't like the show, like I just didn't know I was going to be watching a serial killer show when I started to watch Marvel's Daredevil, right? And like that I was going to watch like a serial killer pump the blood out of a child's body, right?
Yeah, I kind of had an issue with that. It's not that I had an issue with the serial killer, but the fact that he's doing this to a little girl was a little bit much.
I mean, look, I didn't enjoy seeing him do it to a grown man.
No, I didn't either. But I mean, the fact that he did it to the little girl and like actually did it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, she's like 16, but still.
Well, I gotta say, I'm surprised they are going with the Muse storyline for Daredevil for his return.
because it's so dark.
Not necessarily because it's so dark. I'm just surprised. I mean, Muse is a well-known comic character. I'm just surprised that they introduced him when there's so many other stories they could have gone with. But I guess at the same time, though, I guess it kind of makes sense. And actually, Muse might have actually been involved in the Wilson Fisk mayor storyline in the comics. Now that I think about it, so I guess it kind of makes sense.
All right.
Because of the murals and everything.
Yeah, it's and the idea that he's a serial killer who then pumps your blood out of you and uses it to make the paint to paint his murals, and like it's very twisted, this storyline,
yes.
Right?
Very creative though.
Yes, and he also uses epoxy so they can't get rid of him. I was like, they went through all that stuff too to tell you.
I know, which is a little. I'm sure they could sandblast it off there.
Yeah, I know that was a bit much.
But it was kind of, yeah. But it's the thing that finally gets Daredevil back, right?
Yeah.
Like, Matt's
but
like,
yeah, but like you said, he has to run home and change first. He needs to start wearing his.
Which is why it took a minute to get there.
Yeah, he runs home to change, and then he goes down there. Muse seems to be kind of taken by surprise that Daredevil's coming. I guess he was lulled into complacency that Daredevil was retired. He seems a little surprised. There's a big fight. So again, AJ, I just want to come back to you about powers. Like Daredevil
doesn't have it.
He doesn't have any superior strength.
No super strength or anything like that. His powers are his ears, basically.
Okay. And maybe that allows him to anticipate the punch that you're going to throw or something, right?
Yeah. Well, he hears, he can hear, he can hear your heartbeat. He can hear. I mean, he can hear somebody whispering 5 miles away. You know what I mean? So he can hear what your body's doing, and there could be like, we don't hear it, but when you make a fist, I mean, there's certain tendons and joints and everything that move. So maybe he knows what that sounds like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's why he has such fast reflexes and everything, because he kind of anticipates everything because of his hearing.
But no super speed, no super strength, no super anything.
No.
And he's
that's
not
why that's why a lot of times he gets tired. He gets tired and gets the crap kicked out of him.
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised he didn't just go save
skinny.
her and forget the costume, because if he had killed her, then he wouldn't. I mean, killed him, it wouldn't have mattered. But I guess they want to make sure
he's kind of skinny too. He's not a big guy. And so Muse, no superpowers.
No.
Just a crazy serial killer. Yeah.
Just psycho.
Okay, so they're just two normal humans having a fight. And so Matt is forced to let him go. This seemed a little much that he got away, right? But Matt has to be like, all right, I gotta save Angela. I can hear her heart beating like its last beat. I gotta stop fighting Muse and save this kid. And so he saves her, and Muse gets away.
Yeah.
Of course he had to, because it couldn't be over that quick.
Yeah, I guess he must have a backup lair. Like now his lair has been discovered. I don't know if Matt. I guess Matt's not going to call the cops and be like, "Hey, I found the lair. Go down there and get it." Probably not. And I don't think Fisk would want Daredevil to have like solved the whole thing in one night, right?
Yeah, I know. Then they don't need that task force. Daredevil killed the
Yeah.
killer. That would have been cool though.
But I liked the way they intercut the Muse fight with the Fisk Adam. Okay, Jamie.
Pummeling.
How they showed them both like.
Yeah, that was good. But the
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Right? Like they're both back. They both have like given into their darker instincts, and they're both back now by the end of this episode. We have a few comments. I don't know if those are your comments.
Some of them are. She was talking about 9 bodies.
Oh,
At least
yeah.
I think she was. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that happened, I don't have a picture of her, but can we talk about Matt's girlfriend for a second?
Heather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like not liking Heather.
She wants to interview. She wants to interview Daredevil.
she's gonna write another
Oh
book,
yeah.
and she's and it's like an anti-vigilante book, kind of, right? It's like vigilantes. Why do we love the mask? Why do we, right? It didn't sound like it was going to be
Very positive.
positive about vigilantes. And then she's like, "Oh, I want to interview like Frank Castle," and Matt's like, "What?"
He's like, "You never talked to him?" She's like, "Well, I want to interview Daredevil too." He's like,
It's like, "What are you talking about? You want to interview Frank Castle?" No, he's like, "Well, what about Daredevil? You've worked with him." And Matt's like, "Yeah, okay."
That's not going to happen either.
I don't know how long he dates her in the comic book, but I don't see this relationship lasting very long on television. And if she doesn't get killed by either Fisk or Muse, he might just have to break up with her for being anti-vigilante. I don't know, but we'll see. I also maybe might not be liking her because of her previous role as Amanda Clark on Revenge. And I might be bringing some 10-year-old bias towards her.
Forgot you said that before. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a little weird thing. Let's see where that's going with her.
Well, she can't interview Daredevil unless she's like, well, then again, in Superman, they're that stupid. So who knows? I guess she could.
Yeah.
I would just hope you would recognize the person you're sleeping with as having the same voice.
Well, that never happens on any superhero show.
Yeah, I know. I said they're dumb on Superman too. So
yeah, and on Wonder Woman and on all of them.
Yeah.
Nobody ever recognizes their. I mean, at least Batman always tries to talk like this.
Yeah.
So maybe so people don't. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I would imagine that Muse is probably going to kidnap Heather.
Maybe. Yeah, I could see that.
AJ
isn't saying anything, so
I don't really know why she's on this show, if not to like, why does any superhero ever have a girlfriend except for her to eventually be kidnapped by the bad guy and have to be rescued? How many times was Mary Jane kidnapped on various versions of Spider-Man, right? How many times was Lois Lane in peril? How many, right? Like, how many?
Lois put herself there.
That's
okay,
fair.
okay, but still, right? Like I feel like all superhero girlfriends are only there to be rescued.
They're the damsel in distress. That's their point.
Yeah.
Not really. Maybe back in the day, but not now.
All right. Like most of our current superheroes don't really have girlfriends, I guess.
No, they have them. They're just not.
Thor had Jane. Jane had a lot of peril before she became the All Thor.
Yeah, you were right. Mary Jane was kidnapped a lot too, and a lot of bad things happened to her.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe not all of them, but her it did.
A lot of superhero girlfriends have Pepper Potts really just had no personality whatsoever. She was.
You're not wrong.
Right. Anyway, we'll see what happens to her. But I think I texted you guys in the middle of this episode, like, I just don't like this show.
You texted that 5 minutes into it.
I did, right?
Like, I like the first one. I don't like this one.
I just am not. This is just not my thing. You guys know I don't like serial killer shows, and right, I just don't really like serial killer shows.
I don't think I'm assuming though once Muse is gone, it won't be a serial killer show. I guess it depends how long his story arc is.
I mean, yeah, I assume Daredevil fights other people besides serial killers, but I like.
Well, I think now that Fisk has created the anti-vigilante task force, it's going to focus a lot on that.
It also, to me, I know it's not. It's because I watched the excellent Watchmen a couple of years ago. Like, I know this really isn't derivative of Watchmen, but it kind of feels like it with the police violence kind of, right? The anti-police.
Well, not only, I mean, I'll tell you what, Karen, you're probably going to end up not liking the show even more because I know, because of the anti-vigilante task force, I know Frank's going to get involved in it again. And if it's half as bad as his show was, yeah, you're not gonna like it.
Oh, he's like 100 times more violent than Daredevil, right? He makes Daredevil look like a powder, right? Daredevil's a powder puff compared to him.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. Mm. All right. Well, we'll see.
Although then again, I don't know. You love John Barenthal, so it might
even out.
He's so good in this role.
And I'll just see where I fall, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway,
so, yeah,
all right.
Wrap
up. Okay, so that's our show for this week, right?
Yes. Yeah, we've been almost 3 hours. Wow.
Oh my God, that's way too long.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you guys should talk about shows that you don't like less.
Well, we don't have Reacher next week, and we only have one more 9 Bodies, so our show will be getting shorter. But of course, we'll be picking up Doctor.
But then we'll be picking up other shows.
Yeah.
We'll be picking up a couple new shows as we go forward. But
yes.
All right.
But yeah. Please here. Wait. I want to make sure I say.
I'm gonna make a prediction. Next week, Karen's gonna, for half an hour, Karen's just gonna completely complain about 9 Bodies.
All right, I'll try to restrain myself.
I don't know.
It's really funny listening to you guys talk about that because there's not a lot of good stuff that you guys say.
I like it more than she does. So.
I know you do, but I can tell even you're kind of like,
it does have plot holes, but
you know what it is, Jamie? Because it's like you start on it and you're like, I think this is going to be good, and then it's not as good, and you still can't bring yourself to say that something you thought was going to be good isn't good. So you just say, well, I still like it, even though it has this problem and this problem and this problem and this problem and this problem.
It should have been.
I never said I like it because it's a fun show, but it's got a lot of bad writing in certain parts.
It should have been a movie. 9 Bodies in the Mexican
I think it would have been a better.
Should have been a 150-minute movie.
Yeah, probably would have worked.
Or a 120-minute movie.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah, like not overly long, but it should have been a movie.
Yeah, might have been better.
Yeah. So, all right.
But make sure that you join us on Sunday for our Yellow Jacket show. We're going to have Seaview Circle is going to be joining us. I'm not sure if we're doing a multi-stream like before. We might be. Scarlett and I have been talking about it. I had never heard of this before. But we might be doing a raid for these 2 shows and like starting on one network and ending on another. We're still discussing, but that will be Sunday night. And then the following Sunday for the finale of our Yellow Jacket show, we'll be joined by Cyborg Queen Media again. So we have those 2 coming up. And then, like I said, we might be getting another Yellow Jacket cast member, trying to set that up. But as always, please join our Discord. Links in the chat because you can stay apprised of all of that. Because I'm not sure exactly what time our show is going to be, but we will post it in that. And of course, it'll be on YouTube as well. And starting next Wednesday, we'll be having at 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having our first show for The Last of Us, where we'll talk about season 1. And then the following week, of course, will be about the new episodes, and we'll be doing that every week. And I know Scarlett and I are going to be starting a show pretty soon on Thursday. I believe we're going to do Wednesday on Thursday. She keeps saying, we keep laughing about. And might be doing Dead City with Lori. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up. So make sure you join Discord and you check out all of our interviews and everything on scifivision.com and on YouTube. And like I said, tomorrow afternoon, Doctor Who interview. So waiting for that. So that's a big thing. But that'll be on scifivision.com.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Video streaming land or whatever the hell we're called now.
Yep. All right.
Thanks,
everybody.
Yes, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Good night.
See y'all next week.
Bye-bye.